Press start.
Let's start episode 190 of the Current Gen podcast. My name's Tim. I'm here with Kyle, Dan, and Derek, and some monkey friends we brought along with us this week. If you're just listening, I encourage you to check out the video version on Spotify or YouTube, because there's some Kongs. There's a family of Kongs behind Dan right now.
That's right.
And yeah, we're going to talk about that game a little bit, because that is one of the more
real
hilarious
monkey business.
We're here for the monkey family.
One of the more hilarious games that come out in recent memory, and I don't mean it in a good way, like hilarious. Anyway, so we'll talk about that. I'm actually thinking about having us wrap the show with the two big games this week, so that we can just talk about those till we're done talking. So we're going to kind of go quick fire through headlines and any quick things you're playing. Then we're going to hit the new stuff. And also Jeff is going to be joining us, and I know he is playing Spider-Man 2, so we are going to talk about that, but we'll cap the show with that. That'll be our final. So if you're watching or listening, you can check the notes for timestamps. You can jump ahead to that if that's what you are here for. No problem, I understand. But we'll kick things off with just a couple of headlines. There wasn't a whole lot. Just wanted to highlight some of these. This is pretty significant, I think. Pete Hines is retiring from Bethesda after 24 years.
It's huge.
Oh.
Very big.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Maybe that's why he was getting snappy. Because he's like, I don't give a shit anymore.
Or maybe because he was getting snappy, he's like, I'm quitting.
You know what? I'm out of here. Yeah, I think he actually posted something very kind of heartfelt, and it's just he's retiring. It's not it doesn't sound as if it's the company announcing on his behalf that he thought about it and he's stepping back. Kind of like that weird, was that Platinum Games? There was some weird announcement where the company announced it for them, and that was that's strange. But this is more like Pete is saying, this has been awesome, and it's time for me to move on to the next phase of my life. That's what it sounds like.
Well, I don't think he's a big fan of Microsoft being in control.
I don't either. That's the kind of vibe I got too. Not from this apology, but just over the last couple of years. It just that's kind of what it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
He probably gave Starfield a 7 as well. That's part of the problem. He was like,
right.
This is a 7 if I ever played a 7.
He was specifically working on the haptic feedback on the PS5 version of Starfield, and when they canceled that version, he was like, "That's it."
He had just cracked it when they announced their acquisition. He had just cracked it. I actually really like that storyline. I hope that's true.
He was also making the Jimmy Ryan DLC for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they had to cancel that, obviously. So
I already had a whole
in
quest
space.
line on Mars. Jimmy Ryan did. They had to get rid of that, and actually, that's why
VR
some of
in
that stuff on
space.
Mars doesn't make sense.
Jimmy Ryan just floating.
Or someone just started printing. It's like the loudest printing in the history of printing.
Oh, I don't hear anything.
Okay, good. It just scared the crap out of me.
So is the DLC that you're playing as Jimmy, but he's also wearing the VR stuff in the game?
You're just watching him float in space.
You're just watching. So he's just floating through space like.
He is Space Baby from 2001.
He doesn't actually move. He's just like this.
With the power of the PlayStation.
And he's holding the controllers backwards.
Yeah. Right, yes. He's doing his best, He's doing his best.
That's the star fail I want right there.
That's right. Absolutely. All right, well, hopefully that doesn't mean anything major negatively for Bethesda outside of just, hey, a key figure in that organization has moved on. But hopefully, as always happens, someone great will step up into that role. But yeah, he obviously has done a tremendous job there.
I really liked him. So
same, yeah. This is on the level for me as one of the Hauser brothers leaving Rockstar.
Gotcha.
That was the talent guy. He was the brother that wrote everything, and he's like, "See ya." And I'm like, "Well, what are we doing now then? Yeah, now what? Yeah." Pete Hines, he's behind some of the better decisions in that company, I would say, for some of those games. So it's like, what's going with him? Because
I doubt he's done. I think he's just gonna start on his own.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. He'll do something. He'll poach. He'll grab some of the people.
Maybe he'll be a Bethesda
Todd
ambassador like Charles Martinet, where it's like, what are you doing? I'm traveling, I think. I don't know.
Hopefully we don't have to wait 20 years like we are for what's-his-face's Bioshock spin-off game or whatever.
Sure.
When he
Ken
left.
Levine?
Ken Levine, I'm going to go leave and I'm going to go do my own thing. That was 10 or 12 years ago. We just saw the trailer for his first game. So if he does go off to somewhere else, I hope he you know,
because he's his own boss, and he got caught up in like he just enjoys his margaritas and not doing anything. So he's like, you know what?
Hey, you know what?
I'm actually not gonna do anything.
All right, so Nintendo is taking action against this swearing flowers mod in Mario Wonder. It's so funny to me. So there's
I don't know anything about this.
Before the game released this past week, there were people who had already leaked gameplay footage. Obviously, as usual, the game got pirated or released early, whatever, and people were already modding it as they do. But this modder known as Contendo decided to create a mod that makes all the flowers in the game swear at Mario and his friends with lines like "F you" as you run by.
So they made the game better.
Which to me is so funny, dude.
Yeah.
I've been playing a few levels of Mario Wonder so far, loving it. And those flowers actually are kind of funny, but usually just kind of whatever. They'll say "Hi." It kind
of weirds me out because I'm still not used to like voice acting like in Mario games. So it's like you'll hear like someone say a full sentence, you're like, what?
Sometimes they'll comment on what's going on around you, like, oh, that's a door there, or whatever. So it's kind of funny, kind of cute. But the idea of them being like "F you, Mario" or whatever that's hilarious.
But is it in that voice or is it like a different voice? If it's that like
idea.
whimsical, like F you,
Nintendo's getting the videos removed.
Nintendo is so they're like not our Mario. You're not doing this to our Mario.
Our eShop, do whatever you want.
Yeah. We'll have Hentai Plus or whatever Dan was talking about. You know, whatever game he was talking about earlier. But Mario, don't you dare.
The eShop, no standards, but Mario, don't you dare. Don't. To quote Biden, don't.
Yeah.
Don't. That was his whole statement to the bad guys this week. Okay. Anyway, according to this modder, he said the video was too funny, so Nintendo had it removed. That was the modder's take on this.
Sure. Okay. I think that's fair.
That is fair. That's such a funny idea, though. Anyway, it's probably on Reddit somewhere. Like, it's not on the main.
It's gotta be,
YouTube or whatever, but someone's got it somewhere of these flowers swearing. And RoboCop Rogue City, which I know Jeff got the demo for that and traded it a little bit. Seems like it might be a pretty fun little AA experience.
I keep on hearing great things about this game.
It's
wild.
It's not going to be on Switch anymore. So it was originally announced for Switch, and then they left Switch off their most recent, mentionings of it and trailers for it. And as they talk about it, Switch is no longer listed. Someone asked them directly, and he responded with, "There's no current plans to release on the Switch." So it's kind of like a unspoken cancellation because they did announce it listing the Switch as one of the platforms. Anyway, we don't need another super low res port.
No, stop it with that. Yeah, cut that out.
Yeah, just let Nintendo make Switch games. The cloud version. That's true, Dan.
Cloud version.
That's a good point.
Sure.
All right, moving on. Spider-Man 2 update, as we talked about a little bit earlier with New Game Plus. It is coming to the game and Mission Replay as well, but that'll be in an update this year. They said in 2023, before the end of the year, they're going to have an update, which will include other things, I would assume. I know some folks have been talking about some different technical hiccups they've had here and there. I haven't had any, but I've seen others talk about it just out there on Twitter or whatever. So I imagine they'll be cleaning up the game a bit as needed, and then New Game Plus and Mission Replay being added as well. Last but not least, Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name. Probably the lengthiest title this year, maybe. Could be.
Maybe.
Up there, yeah.
At least for like major releases. There might be some really small releases. But it's up there. No English dub at launch. I don't know if that's a big deal, Kyle, for these games.
Nah, I think Like a Dragon 7 or Like a Dragon, whatever, the last one that came out, that was like the reboot or whatever. It had dub, but like every other one of these games, except for the Judgment series, don't have dubs. So that's not a huge deal.
Okay.
I have a feeling Like a Dragon 8 or Infinite Wealth is probably going to have a dub though, just to kind of continue that. But
yeah, because that was like one of the most successful mainstream ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. And I don't know, I don't know if I want Kiru to be speaking English. Like I don't. That weirds me out. I think enough time has passed where he does show up in 7. He speaks English, and I'm like, I almost didn't even recognize him because that's just, I don't know. There's no voice that's fitting to that than the voice I've always heard him. So a whole game with still Kiru kind of makes sense to not like overuse the English voice actor, maybe.
I'm pretty sure that I'm getting like passive aggressive attacked with the printer. Like I'm recording a podcast, and I think my family is printing stuff. It has to be. There's no way they're printing this much on a Saturday night.
You can read them and it just feel like, hey, like the Mario mod, F you, Tim. Or I guess Dad. Right? F you, Dad.
Someone's at war with your ink.
part of me respects it. You know, I'm like, all right, this is a good way to like get at me for being in here and not hanging out with my family. Anyway, all right, so that was it as far as I had for headlines. Was there anything else big in the news that happened this week that I missed in the gaming world? I think that there wasn't a whole lot.
I mean, I can't think of anything because video games came out. So
video games released. The real news and the real world was all over the place. So that's too much of a bummer. I don't want to talk about any of that news, but as far as gaming news, I think it's been super slow, which is kind of nice. It's that time of year though. Companies are delivering on their games. People are talking about those. Most of the news is around the response to those games. So we'll get to that with new stuff. If there's anything outside of new things, so not Spider-Man 2, not Mario Wonder, Sonic, anything else you might be playing or watching that released this week, we'll cover that in a minute. Anything else you've been circling back to, like old shows, old movies, or old games that you're just now getting to? That's what we'll touch on here real quick. Instead of closing with this, we'll do that real quick right now. I've only got a couple. I played the demo for Star Ocean, the Second Story R. I didn't play the full 3 hours I think they give you in that, but I played, I don't know, like an hour and a half or so. Super gorgeous. Jeff already talked about this. Jeff, full credit. You talked about it first. You win. But I just now played it, and it's gorgeous. The music is great. The voice acting is fine. There was at the beginning it sounded weird. It's like they were trying to make it sound echoey, so everyone's like in a bathroom recording. I don't know what it was. At the beginning it was strange, but once we got out of that setting of the opening, it sounded fine. The battles are pretty fun, but it's mostly about the visuals for me with that one. Really cool little game. Tents and Trees. I had to try this demo because it keeps getting listed as like one of the top 10 games released this year, because it has like 5 reviews and it averages like a 93. I'm like, well, that could mean nothing, right? That could mean could still be garbage. So I played it, and it's basically Picross, but with tents and trees instead of numbers. If you guys ever played Picross, the puzzle game before, where you have to, it's like Sudoku style approach to things, where you have things on the outside of a grid telling you what to put where to put things in the grid. In this case, instead of numbers, it's literal tents and trees, and there's rules around where you can place them. Okay. It is a cute little relaxing puzzle game that gets, of course, more difficult as it goes on, but not for everybody by any stretch. Feels very much like a mobile game. It's on Switch and PC, but anyway, so it's fine if you like Picross type puzzle stuff. Sure. And then let's see. I finally watched the Black K Klansman. However you say this title of this movie. It's the Spike Lee movie. It's so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's a really good movie. I highly recommend it. I think
everyone shows up and plays parts that they're not used to like playing. It felt like.
Yeah, and it's set in Colorado Springs, so I was like,
hey, shut up.
Yeah, that would be the right takeaway. Yeah.
It's funny whenever there's a movie that is, of course, historically set talking about any kind of race relations, and it's set in a place where you live or used to live. You're like, crap, dang it.
Good luck.
Yeah. So anyway, no, it's an excellent movie though. Well acted, like Kyle said, all around. Really, really good. I thought it was great, and it has some really good dark humor in there too. I like Adam Driver a lot.
Me too. I think he's one of the best guys working right now.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's really good. We did finally watch The Little Mermaid with my daughter. She wanted to do like a movie night. And that's what she picked, and I was told by everyone this is woke garbage and I need to stay away from it. And it turns out, guys, it's just a Disney movie, and it's fine. Sure. Like it's
yeah.
No. Is it amazing? No. Like, do I have nostalgia for the cartoon from when I was a little kid? Sure. Yeah. But this was fine, and we thought it was.
It kind of feels like all these movies kind of hit right there, like the live
right
action,
there with Aladdin,
scene
right
for
there with
scene.
Beauty and the Beast. It's the same thing. It's like, all right.
Fine. Yeah.
Some of them are higher quality, but yeah,
I would
mostly.
say Jungle Book is probably better than the original, but like outside of that, I can't think of anyone that like eclipsed the original.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So anyway, I watched it. That was fine. It's not something I would have watched on my own, nor will I ever rewatch it. It's not like there was a time, even as an adult, I would see a Disney, specifically Pixar movie, and I'd be like, I got to see that again. Like I remember seeing Finding Nemo, and immediately I wanted to watch it again. Like there are movies that do hit like that are targeting kids that still just work for adults as well. This just isn't one of those. And then I watched a pretty B movie called No Escape with Owen Wilson and Lake Bell and Pierce Brosnan in a really weird little bit role that he plays.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah, it's kind of like, remember when Owen Wilson did when he did Behind Enemy Lines. It was like all of a sudden he.
Oh my God, that movie! Yeah,
remember that one?
That exists. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I actually like that.
I think Gene Hackman was in that too, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I didn't hate that movie, to be honest with you, but like it's not good. But it's a B action movie, but I still this is in that same vein, same thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, the idea is that this super innocent, awesome white American family is stuck in a foreign land, and they're all just an evil mob to kill them.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
It's a little out of touch, but it's still good. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I should say
Sure.
it's like a 6, 7 out of 10 kind of a movie. So
I've seen that movie.
All right. So those are the things I've been watching outside of new stuff. Kyle, what about you? Anything that you've been playing or watching outside of new things?
Gosh, not really. No, I mean, I finished up the first row of Forza Cups in the campaign. I think it ends with a Ford GT race like on Le Mans, which is just man, that car on that track is just very, very, very fast, and it really you can really see how well that game performs at like high speeds and stuff like that. It's pretty impressive. Still really enjoying that game a lot, but haven't really been playing. I mean, a lot came out this week, so hard to get back to old stuff or even have a want to right now.
Yeah.
In terms of watching things, not really. You know,
too much to play.
It's too much to play. Yeah,
and a job you probably have to go to as well.
Whatever. Yeah, I don't know if that's taking up as much time as it needs to, but no. I just been kind of circling the drain on stuff right now, and I don't, I guess a new show that's been airing that I've been watching week to week that I just got caught up on is Our Flag Means Death, which is the Taika Waititi pirate show on HBO. Super dumb, super silly. I like it a lot. It's very, very, very stupid. Purposely so. I'm really enjoying that, and there's a lot of recognizable faces in this show. So really enjoying that. Definitely suggest that if people watch the first season. So
nice.
That's pretty much it for me though.
Nice. Oh, I forgot. The biggest thing for me was I did finish Assassin's Creed Mirage. Actually finished it today.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Guys, it's a 7 out of 10 game. Like that is a correct score for this game. That is actually accurate. And that's not me trying to like be a tryhard for a game that actually scored higher than that. It averages a 7 out of 10 for most places. I feel like that's exactly what it was. Derek and
it's the Starfield of Assassin's Creed games.
It's Starfield is so much better than this game.
IGN said no.
Kyle. I will say that story-wise, there is kind of a cool twist at the end, even though I don't totally understand everything they're trying to do to tie it into the bigger story. Some of the there's a more personal twist I thought at the end was pretty cool. I was like, oh, I actually did not see that one coming. There's some character twist in terms of like, oh, this person's actually going to turn on you. Like that wasn't that surprising. You can kind of see that coming in some of these Assassin's Creed games. But anyway, so I thought it was pretty good, but I maintain the fact that when you're doing stealth stuff and exploring the city, awesome. Combat did not get better. So for the final encounter, I literally just, because I had maxed out the tools, I just kept throwing smoke bombs down and I would get like 3 free hits in on the enemy. Because otherwise they were hard to hit. So I'll just do that, and that's how I killed him. I was like, this is really one of the most least satisfying boss fights I've ever done.
That sounds epic.
I wish it would be like a really sophisticated like assassin. Like that's what those games need to be.
Yeah.
Like it needs to be
like the last level is a really cool Hitman level,
Yeah.
That would be
that's where you go all in and you're just like, all right, there's multiple tiers to this to get this.
It felt like they fast forwarded the story and just gave you a very linear little section to go through with a pretty easy encounter at the end. Well, easy if you use smoke bombs. But it was fine. Overall presentation was solid. Music is great, and the setting was really great. I thought anyway, everything we said about before that was positive still stands. All the drawbacks are still there as well. I had plenty of times that I should have, as a smooth assassin, been able to navigate a situation or escape from an enemy, but he just starts running up the wrong wall where there's a little roof and I can't climb any higher. And I'm like, that's not where I was trying to go. There's plenty of that still happening. So anyway, they brought the jank. It's fine. But I am glad that one's finished. It's nice to like wrap up games. I did spend like over 20 hours with it because I played a lot of it. I did a lot of the side stuff. And I enjoyed doing a good amount of that, but by the end I was ready to be done. I think I spent like 21 hours or so with it. So I think the average is.
Did you play it on PS5 or PC?
I did like 3-4 hours on PC and then the rest on PS5.
Okay.
Yeah, and I found the experience on PS5 to be smoother. So, and I prefer that controller. Sony Pony right here. All right.
I mean,
yes.
So do I, except for I hate the battery life, but other than that, I like the controller.
Eric, what about you? Anything that you've been watching or playing outside of new stuff this week you want to highlight?
Yeah, I got 3 games. There's one main one. I'll save that one for last. But the other 2 were Assassin's Creed Mirage. I'm still working through that. I'm a little over 60% through the main story or whatever. Same feelings I had when I talked about it before. It's fine. I don't have any negative feelings about it other than, well, I shouldn't say that. Other than I think the combat's very weak, but I would put it for me at a 7. Like it hasn't changed, whereas a lot of times when I'm playing a game, I might start out by really liking it and then eventually it could go to crap, or I may not like it up front and then it gets better as it goes through. This one just kind of stays the same.
It's the same.
Nothing's changed. Yeah. So it's very boring.
Assassin's Creed Mirage. Am I right?
Yes. There we go. So it's fine. I will probably try to beat it in the next week or 2 because I don't want to like forget about it, even though I know we got these 2 major releases.
You'll like the story ending, but like the game itself.
And you're close enough, 60%. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you're
I just want to mainline it because I did the first like 10 hours I was playing. I was just doing every contract. I wasn't even doing missions. So I just want to mainline it now. The other one is I am playing Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. I just finished I'm not going to spoil it, but just the mission where you have to infiltrate a party to meet up with.
Yes. Did you do the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we're in. So that's going to be my main game. Like I'm going to play Spider-Man 2 and stuff like that, but I want to finish Phantom Liberty.
There's not much left, in terms of main missions, there's a lot of side
that's going to
stuff,
be my
obviously.
main. Yeah, but I honestly, and I said it last week or 2 weeks ago, Cyberpunk is ridiculously good. Like I remember liking it at launch, but I'm talking you're now getting into the tiers of, and for me, I'm speaking personally for me, in BioWare level, where I'm like, no, this is taking me to those RPG levels of I love this game. And that is not how I felt about it. So this game is really, really freaking good. So I'm going to beat Phantom Liberty. And then at some point, I can't say when.
Just do a rerun.
I'm definitely doing the second playthrough. I'm playing it on Xbox, the second playthrough. I just don't, realistically, I don't have time. So the only way I'll continue playing that is if I'm laying in my bed. I'm like, well, I don't want to get up and turn anything else on. I got the Xbox controller in my hand. I'll play Cyberpunk. But point is, Phantom Liberty is legit. It's great. If you're for some dumb reason on the fence, get off of it, buy it, play it now. It's fantastic.
There's a moment in that mission that you're just talking about, no spoilers, obviously, where like a concert happens and it's like this ridiculously visual performance or whatever, and there's no reason for it to be there other than it being like, hey, this is a lived-in moment, this is a lived-in world, and they just craft this I don't know, these visuals and stuff like that really suck you into a moment that just make it a memorable moment, and the whole video game is filled with that, but that quest has a really good example of that.
Also, that quest was great to do. One of my favorite things that I do in any video game that I can do, and that's go up to an NPC, start talking to them, and then run away as they're talking to you. And they're just like, and my character even reacted. V was like, I'll talk to you later. And she's like running away.
I gotta go.
Like far away.
Yeah.
We'll finish this conversation later, but I enjoy doing that. I don't know why. It's my favorite thing to do in games.
And being able to just walk up to a bar and lean in and grab a whiskey from a bartender. It's just there's no reason for that. It's just it just wants you to feel like you're in a place,
Yeah. And then the last one is Lords of the Fallen. So this came out last week. I easily put 50 plus hours in the last 8 days into this game. And I was determined, this became a job. I was like, I must beat this game before I move on to Spider-Man.
Yeah, 50. That's a lot of hours for a week, for a game that you kind of.
That's like beating Assassin's Creed Mirage twice, maybe 3 times.
Yeah. So I put a lot of effort into this game. and I think I have a fair opinion and fair gripes. So this is the game I would say it's a great example of when I first started it. This was a really good game. So, when you start playing it, the atmosphere's awesome, the graphics look great. It runs pretty smoothly now. I fixed it on my PC too. It runs good on PS5. That's where I mainly played it because I had PC issues in the beginning. But after I would say I hit the 20-hour mark, that's when I started seeing its flaws and really, really getting frustrated. And today, so I've had a lot of days where I made the joke last week where I was having conversations with myself and God and everything. It got really bad today, like really, really bad, where I was just like, I'm at the very end and I'm like, don't I would quit if I knew I wasn't at the end. Like this is how bad this game is. Like I was completely shocked at these reviews because like I was telling Tim before you guys joined the show, I said normally I'm the guy that thinks reviewers are scoring things too low. Like I think they're too hard or they try hard with their opinions. And here I am playing the game going, I don't understand how these guys are scoring it this high. Like this game is terrible. It's terrible design. Like level designs is a damn maze. Everything looks the same, but you can't. It's like Sasan would absolutely hate it because it's like Resident Evil. Everything's locked, but everything looks the same. So you got to find keys, you got to find things, find enemies, find books, find whatever, and you're just running in circles. Like I don't know where I'm at. Where is this at? But the thing that makes it worse is everywhere you go, whether you're in I forgot the regular world or umbral world. It doesn't matter. There's just nonstop enemies. It's only worse in umbral. Like umbral is if you haven't played the game, that's your death world basically. So that's the world where your lamp basically revives you. So you're in like a death world and enemies just pop out of nowhere and they keep coming and coming and coming and there's no like to me I think that's fine. I actually agree with the intent of the game, which is like, hey, during daytime or whatever, when you're alive, you have less enemies. At night, it's going to be more terrifying, more difficult. I'm on board with that. Like Dying Light, Dying Light 2, all of them did that. I'm like, I'm on board with that, but you have to do it in a way, especially with these type of games, where you're not overwhelming the player that they can't even like take a breath. Like I had so many moments I can't even explain to you guys. It's gonna sound like I'm exaggerating. I'm not. Like there was a guy I was watching his review today. He's a really good reviewer. He only reviews games after he completes them 100%. And he keeps everything public so you can go check on him and make sure he's not lying. So he 100% of this game. So he's absolutely crazy. I don't know why the hell he would do it. And at the very end of his review, he goes over the pros and cons. And this was after I'd already created my cons, after I created my post on our group chat and everything. He almost read my cons off. He was just like, and he's not emotional. He was just like, I really tried to like this game, but here's what they did wrong. The lock-on system, terrible, which that's the worst thing of this game is the lock-on system. The enemies coming nonstop, that's not really a good difficulty for these type of games. That's really, really lazy. You're just throwing enemy on top of enemy, and you're not giving the player an opportunity to explore, to even do anything. And then he had a problem with the level design, and a lot of the fights are the same thing over and over. Like they just reuse enemies throughout the 50 plus hours. I fought the same guys over and over, over and over.
It's almost like they're punishing you for continuing the game. Like
yes. And the thing is,
like, you want to keep going.
Rough.
So it's the same enemies, right? So you already know your move patterns. So you would think, well, the game is just going to be easier now because you're leveling up. By the way, for anybody who doesn't know, I was a level 130 when I beat this game. Anybody, if you go watch people that are playing on YouTube that are doing their little playthroughs, they're finishing the game at level 90. So I'm 40 levels above, and here I am bitching and complaining about being harassed by enemies nonstop and being annoyed by it. So this game, the way it's designed is just terrible to me. There's a good core system there, and that's why I was saying to Tim, I was like, if they do some patches and make some updates, this could be a really good game, which is what that guy said in his review. He's like, as it stands now, I cannot recommend you play it right now, but if you want to wait in 2 months and see if they patch it and excuse me, and fix some of the issues, I think you'll have a really, really good game here. And I agree with that.
Do you think balancing is in the table, like, for the dev? Have they said anything about it?
I don't think so. I saw the first. I don't know if they will, but you got to wait and see if they get enough feedback. But the feedback from the reviews is this is a good game.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So I hate that, but but they are going to listen to the players.
They might interpret it as like no easy mode. It's like that's not what people were saying. People aren't saying easy mode.
I mean, because even like Liza P, like the devs like kicked in really quick, and we're like.
By the way, this is our Lords of the Fallen counter. This is how much time we have left to talk about Lords of the Fallen. It's taken up way too much time the last 3 episodes. Go.
No.
He's just zooming in more.
Okay. I'm gonna wait till it hits 0, and I'm gonna continue the conversation.
Listen, I know that you need this, so I want to give this to you. You go ahead, keep going.
No, I can finish it up, but my point is that it's a very frustrating game that has a lot of potential. Like the things that a lot of these other these Souls games try to pull off, they can't. Like the thing that most of them fail at is actually nailing the combat. This game nails the combat.
Combat feels great.
I'm not complaining about the combat.
I'm complaining.
Nice. Yes, I'm complaining about the design and some of the choices that they made on how you move through this world. You've got to let the players explore the world. That's the beauty of the Souls games is, yes, there is difficulty. Yes, it can be frustrating. I'm not anti-frustrating. Liza P was very frustrating. I still give it a 9.5. It's a great game. This game, I can't. I'm going to give it a 6. That's the highest I'll go, and I feel like I'm being nice there. The amount of times that I was very blown away by how bad it was baffles me. Yeah. Because I was just like, I don't know. To me, this seems stupid. Like, I don't know what you guys are doing. And the thing that really is crazy is, and I said this last week, but it's true all the way through the game, even the last boss. The hardest part about the game is the levels. The bosses are easy. I actually ran into the last boss not knowing I was running into him, and I was already dead, meaning I was in my second life form, and I almost beat him. He had like this much health. So then when I went back with 2 lives and all my blasts, I easily killed him. It was easy. It was a cupcake. And I'm like, he's a cupcake, but everybody else, just regular enemies, are the worst things.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It's Call of Duty, by the way. I didn't get to say it. It's Call of Duty. They just snipe you the whole time. The whole time. Like, I was watching a guy play, and he's like, who's shooting me? Like, you just hear people saying this over and over. Who's shooting me? That's the whole game. You walk in a new area. Who's shooting me? Because that's all they do. They have snipers. They have snipers everywhere. I'm like, this is Call of Duty. This isn't Dark Souls. So, yes, now I'm done.
To be fair, it's called Lords of the Fallen, not like Lords of Success, Lords of Happiness. Like, they want you to feel awful, and they've succeeded, I think.
Well, and I'm okay with that if you do it in a smart way. I wouldn't say this is a smart way. This is lazy. Let's just throw a lot of enemies at you.
You know, it's funny when one of these games comes out, not even if it's a Souls-like, but if a game comes out and it's just like, nope, I don't like any of this, then it's a little easier to be like, forget it. But if you like enough of it, like core gameplay of it, and there's other frustrating pieces, I do kind of get continuing to play it, even though certain parts of it just rub you the wrong way. I get it. I do get that.
Yeah, the combat's great. The armor, like just the visuals, the armor that you get. Like I got almost all the armor unlocked, and it's so freaking awesome. Like you look like a badass. It's an awesome. It's got a lot of awesome things about it, but the cons outweigh the pros by a ton.
All right, Dan, what about you? Anything you're playing that's not new this week?
So I started Lords of the Fallen. No, I'm just kidding. No, I didn't.
I gotta go.
Surprise! No, just was playing mostly Starfield before Mario Actually, grabbed Sonic. We did grab Sonic. I don't know if I'm the only one that is playing Sonic.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
So I grabbed Sonic,
Okay.
Mario, Spider-Man.
Big mascot.
So Starfield's the what?
Big mascot week.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like being a kid again. You're like, wait, what?
Including the guys behind you. We'll get to those too.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so Starfield's still fun. I found.
What are you doing right now in Starfield?
So I like to cheese. I like to cheese it up in these Bethesda games, Kyle. I like to do a little cheese. So I found that there's this store on that main planet that you get to for the first time that the Constellation people are on.
Yeah,
okay.
It's that store down in that like area, which I didn't even know.
Well.
It's which like, how do you even casually find that? It's literally you have to find that elevator that's tucked off in the corner. Like, I don't even understand.
Yeah, thankfully, like a mission will take you there from like you just overhear someone. But like, if I wouldn't have ever gone over there had a mission not taken.
Yeah. Had no clue.
That's where I go to sell all my questionable things, is to that trade.
Yeah, go to the trade.
Oh, actually, I go to the Wolf's Den when I get the contraband. By the way, if you haven't yet, I'm
aware of it. Yeah, but you can go to the
den in the Wolf system. Anyway, it's a place where you can go without getting scanned.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But speaking of selling things, Tim, so there's that when you get down to the well, there's that store right there on the right. Where that guy sells, like, he's like, oh yeah, my stuff's legit, like, which obviously he's implying like almost like it's not. Yeah, it is basically glitched where like all that shit that's on the wall, there's just like a bunch of it that's not supposed to be there. So if you look at like the grouping of things, there'll be like a list of 20 guns, but you only see the one gun.
Gotcha.
But he's gonna see you steal, right? Because you're standing there, so you can. There's a couple of different ways you can either like if you unlocked the stealth like ability, so you can kind of try to stealth. But like he gets up and tries to be like, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's going on? What are you doing?" But then there's these other things. I don't know if you guys had come across it. There's like abilities you can get in the game, I guess. And I came across one through the Ryujin storyline. I don't know if you guys did that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I unlocked that ability, which is very helpful because I basically made him go away out of the store completely.
Oh, I know.
And I just looted the shit out of him.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
I love cheesing Bethesda games. It's like half the reason you play them, yeah.
Dan, I'm going to guess you were a little over encumbered after that shopping spree.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Had a lot to sell, though, I'm sure. Yeah.
I sat down in a chair for many hours over and over again.
yeah, that's my favorite. Doing the like on Atlantis, you can hit like 4 stores in like one rotation, and you get back on your ship. You sleep for 24 hours.
Yep.
Do the rotation again. Yeah. Did that in Skyrim as well. That's just the economy system in those games. Yeah.
Did you ever find that abandoned casino space station? It's just floating.
Yeah.
That was cool, right?
That was cool. Because it's like there's no gravity, and it's like I was immediately you're floating. You're like, what's going on? You're like,
and
I was like, confused.
You don't have to go there. I mean, maybe there is a mission to go there, but I didn't have a mission to go there. I just showed up and saw it, and I was like, well, let me see what's in here. And like,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was fun. That was a cool one.
Yeah, there was those dudes in there. I was like, what the hell's going on? It was very.
And then like if you explore all of it, then you find a whole like crate of contraband stuff in the back. I was like, ooh,
yeah.
Human organs.
I'll have to double check this, but this Starfield's like the 7th best-selling game of the year, even though it was on Game Pass.
That makes sense because it's a solid 7 out of 10, Kyle.
That is crazy, man.
Isn't that crazy? Like that Game Pass, like people are still buying the game despite Game Pass existing.
Yeah,
and that's sales, so that's the premium upgrade. That's the premium upgrade as well, you know.
Sure.
So even if you do have it on Game Pass, many people just upgraded. I just couldn't believe that it was in the top 10 best-selling games of the year.
Yeah,
that's good.
So great for Starfield. What a cool game. And it's really successful despite again being free or whatever.
You're right, dude. I'm looking at it right now. It's number 7.
Nice.
Sorry, Dan.
Good job, Brain.
Interrupt you.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Thing real quick to say.
I mean,
Hogwarts Legacy, not a shock, at number 1. Okay. Tears of the Kingdom number 2. Madden number 3. Diablo 4 is number 4 appropriately. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 at number 5. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, yes, number 6.
Nice.
Then Starfield number 7. Mortal Kombat 1 number 8. Resident Evil 4 number 9. And MLB The Show number 10. It's pretty good.
Mortal Kombat made it. Wow.
I wasn't going to read the rest of them, but as a side note, Dead Island 2 number 11. There you go.
Oh, that's awesome. Good for Dead Island.
I want a third, please.
Yeah.
Although that kind of bums me out because that means it sold more than Final Fantasy 6. Like, come on, what do you
By
guys?
one.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 16 is right below that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but remember, that's one console compared
Yeah.
to
Yes, no, I know.
PC and all the other consoles.
Correct.
I'm
Also, it really underperformed, but we don't have to talk about that right now.
Yeah, it was the awful game.
Canceled.
Too many good-looking cutscenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, of course.
Boss fights too epic.
So yeah, I hadn't played anything else, but I did watch. We actually watched the first one in New York at the house that we were at. The Mummy and Mummy Returns.
Dude, yeah.
I just bought the Mummy on 4K, and that movie looks great in 4K.
Really?
That's such a fun movie.
The old movies always look the best when you go watch them in
better.
4K. You're like, oh man.
Dude, I really thought he was like, and his career is awesome now. Like, his resurgence has been cool to see. Like, I always thought he was the next Tom Cruise level, like,
I thought so
epic action movie guy. But he only did like maybe 3 or 4, and then all of a sudden kind of disappeared. I don't know. Things went weird for him.
Well, that was the whole thing with the person that like sexually assaulted him, but then also his body was just getting effed up because he was like putting himself through the
regulated stunts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I remember him talking about some of that stuff. Yeah,
which is really sad. But
dude, the Mummy. Those are like not only nostalgic fun, but I still think they hold up as fun.
I think if you want to show kids like a really fun adventure movie, or just maybe someone who's never seen this movie before, that movie super holds up in my opinion.
It's great, man. Yeah,
like my wife, she's not really like my wife. She's not like into those movies, which is like sometimes kind of like, all right, like can we watch something besides just comedies and romantic things? You know, like, oh, everything's happy. It's like, all right, let's watch like some fun action.
Brendan Fraser is very funny and charming. You know, like, there's something for everybody to enjoy.
She did end up liking them. There's just not her go-tos, but like she's gone to the Disney parks and the Universal parks all these years. Like you've been on the Mummy ride, like, and
I've been on the Mummy ride. It's so fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great ride. So I was like, we're gonna watch the Mummy. Like I haven't watched this in years. I really enjoy those movies.
Mummy Returns is questionable, but it's still fun. It's a fun ride.
I actually like the set pieces of that one more than the first one. I think it's
bigger budget,
fun.
Yeah, bigger budget in the second movie. They do this thing where it's like, what do we do? We're gonna add an annoying kid. They're gonna drag the whole plot down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, it's actually he's carrying it forward. Technically, Kyle.
Technically, he is the plot, which is my problem.
That's the problem with it. That's the problem.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great CG. The Rock looks fantastic in CG.
When they were retouching up everything, they're like, we don't need to retouch this up. This is perfect.
So for those of you who are just listening, Dan, surrounded by the Kong monkeys saying great CG, should tell you everything you need to know about the accuracy of that statement.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Oh man,
that's how The Rock looks. Actually, the top left guy. That's The Rock.
That's true. Yeah, that's actually The Rock. It's actually The Rock. But like, there's just some like over the top. Like there, like my wife even like cackled out loud. Like in Returns, where when Brendan Fraser gets him with the spear. Yeah. And then Emotep like is like no, like the way he just like reacts to him getting set because he wants the Anubis army, right? But then like Brendan Fraser stabs Scorpion Rock, and just the way he's like no, it's just so cheesy. But I don't know, those are just really fun movies. So
they're very
for some reason, if you've never seen them, watch them. They're fun. So
yeah.
No, they're good.
I enjoyed the first one especially.
Oh yeah, and the third one is excellent, right? Everybody, we all love the third one.
There's a third one.
Remember,
that's
literally
right.
I refuse.
Don't forget the Scorpion King. Come on now.
Oh yeah, come on now. That's exactly right.
I don't think I actually watched that one.
The reason
it's so good.
The reason, no, hold on.
Scorpion King 2, even better.
One.
I think there's a third Scorpion King.
Don't watch the third one. It's because Rachel Weisz is not in it.
She's not in it.
Yeah. And like, not even Jet Li could save that movie. Even though I thought that was the right move, is like we're gonna do another culture's Mummy. Like I thought that was like that's kind of interesting, but that was like the last time that movie was interesting.
It's reminding me that there's it's funny. I've mentioned Tom Cruise, and you're talking about the Mummy, and I actually have never seen the Tom Cruise Mummy movie that came out just a few years ago.
I didn't either. Yeah,
never watched it.
Neither did I.
It was so painfully generic.
That's kind of what I've heard.
Painful.
Yeah. Like not bad enough to be worth a watch because it's just bad, funny, but like not good
even
either.
A bad hate watch, like the good hate watch. Not even bad enough for me to be like, guys, it's so bad. It's just there.
I'm a big Jake
that's the
Johnson
worst
fan,
kind of movie to be.
because I'm pretty sure Jake Johnson's in that movie, and I was like, yeah, I'm still not going to see that.
Yeah, he dies, and then for some reason comes back. They don't really explain it.
Doesn't matter. Mummy.
Mummy. Oh well,
because
you can buy the Mummy trilogy in 4K for $33, like the Blu-rays, not digital.
That's fun. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Guys, you probably heard Jeff's voice there. Jeff has joined us just in time. We're just doing our quick hits first. We're getting that stuff out of the way before we go back to all the new stuff this week. So do you have anything non-new? So like no new shows or movies either. We'll get to those in a minute. But like anything non-new that you want to highlight from this week?
I have a couple. Yeah, I forgot to mention that I finished Castlevania Nocturne, and it is very good. And you do have to watch the original series. Crap. I have to watch 2 seasons of the original Castlevania.
Listen, that's not a bad thing, though. It's amazing.
Not. It's good, but it's just like, oh, great, backlog. More backlog.
Yeah, I've got a couple episodes downloaded from my trip coming up of the original series.
You can watch it by itself, but
yeah,
there's a reference specifically in the finale that's like, oh, that's okay. I know exactly what that is talking about.
That's fun. That's fun.
And I only know what it's talking about because seeing the first 2 seasons is enough of that series of the first Castlevania series. So like you'll know plenty just from 1 season, even just from what I'm talking about in the finale. But it's still kind of like, cool. Oh, okay. So I do have to, like, if the show continues, and I think it will. I think it did get renewed. Then I'm gonna have to. I have no choice. I have to watch.
I'm assuming it's a cliffhanger. Does it end like on?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah.
And it directly ties to yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, besides that, I have some Next Fest demos that I'm still cleaning up. I actually have 2 left, and they might have even been taken off by now. Yeah. But there's one called Reveal, and this is like a Reveal, like REVAEIL, whatever. Words are hard, and spelling them is harder. But this is like a first-person horror type of thing, where you're kind of like walking up to weird-looking things, like items, like child's dolls, toys, for example, in this case, and like figuring out a puzzle. And then you're going to the next creepy room where there's a lot of weird sounds and weird images and stuff. So it's kind of like Layers of Fear, but there's just more puzzle stuff to it. And don't care. Was not super invested. Yeah. Art style's fine. Whatever. The Talos Principle 2 had a demo, and that comes out next month, I think, if I have my timing right. I think early next month. And I couldn't put this demo down. Like, I was very surprised how I felt about it, because it is a straight up, like, I mean, you can choose a third person perspective, but I chose first person. It is a straight up first or third person puzzler, where you're going into certain rooms, and you're given certain tools, and you have to light up certain objects at a certain color or whatever in order for a door to open that gives you a key that gets you to another room. At least that's how it starts. And they gave you like 8 puzzles. No, they gave you a training area, which is the full training area from the game. And then they give you 8 puzzles from in-game in the world, which apparently it's like an open world type situation, where you can like kind of go from map to map. So at least you're able to see in the pause menu, you can see how many islands you get to go to. It's like 6 or 7 total. And in each one, there's like 8 puzzles. Then there's like a bunch of random whatever goodies you can find, I guess, some lost stars, they call them, or lost puzzles. I'm not going to find those. I'm not that smart of a puzzler. But something about these puzzles specifically don't make me feel like a complete idiot. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they're so simple and I overcomplicate it. Like they give you almost too much at your disposal and you're like, oh, that's a red herring. I don't need to use that. And you just light up one path one way and you're like, I could have done that the whole time. I could have done that 5 minutes ago. So that happened a couple times, but for the most part, sometimes you're walking in and you're like, oh, I got it. I speak this game's language, and they don't explain anything to you. You just kind of have to figure out what the tool is that you're given. If it's like a disruptor, it takes down walls. If it's like a receiver, then you need to map it to like a laser on a wall or something like that, and then have that laser reflected back to another point on a wall. There's a color changing one too, where it's like you have to change the colors of the lasers, and that gets really complicated and messy. But is
this enough to sell you on it? Like, are you like, dude, I'm buying this?
I'm totally getting it. Yeah, I'm totally getting this game, and
I've heard the first one's really good.
I've heard that.
That's another surprising element is the world building. Like, there's so much world building, and it is story heavy. Like, I'm actually very surprised. And the less I say about it, the better, actually, because I knew there were robots and AI involved, but I didn't even come close to finishing the first one, so I didn't know any of this stuff. and they explain a lot at you once you get past the training area. And I'm like, oh my god, this is like dense. Like this
That's
is
pretty
crazy.
cool.
Yeah, I didn't expect it, and it's also funny. Like it's like funny, a tongue-in-cheek kind of like Portal way, where you're kind of like it's silly, and everybody's acknowledging that it's a little silly, and but they built like a whole religion around what our humankind or whatever, which has now expired. They built a whole religion around what we left behind. So like a lot of details I got wrong completely, and some of them are very interesting. I don't know. It's just I'm fascinated by that. Like I kind of want to keep going because of that.
Yeah.
But I was very surprised. It was like 3 hours I finished the demo.
Now, if you can't tell, Jeff's been singing. Your voice sounds a little tired. Are you raspy?
Yeah.
But that just means you had an awesome set, right? You were just belting it out tonight. How'd it go?
I was, and it was not a big audience like whatsoever. Like, so like I was just giving it everything. Like I was practicing in my bedroom and nobody could hear me, you know, even though I know people can hear me in an apartment building. But I was kind of singing like that, like no cares in the world.
Yeah.
And I was just letting it out, dude.
Nice. Well, thanks for jumping on right after that. I appreciate it.
Well, I mean, y'all are talking about my most anticipated game of the year, so
you got to be here for that.
Actually,
Lords of the Fallen.
Lords of the Fallen. You missed it. We had Lords of the Fallen, and I even
we're past that.
I even put a timer up. I put a timer up for that one. Just giving Derek our time.
You meant King Kong, right, Jeff? King Kong.
Not only my most anticipated game of the year, but one of my most anticipated movies of the year came out too. So obviously that's Old Dads. We'll get there.
Well, yeah, we'll get to Old Dads. Don't worry about that. Not Killers of a Flower Moon. Boring.
Well, boring. 3.5 hours of staring at nothing.
Well, okay. I think that's it for quick hits, right? Did I miss anybody? Anything you wanted to share? Because we want to jump right into all the
everything
new stuff.
else is like came out this week for me.
Okay. Well, so we're doing things a little backwards this week. Let's continue that trend. There's a couple new TV shows.
Oh crap! I'm sorry, I forgot. I still love Forza Motorsport. I love it so much, and I got to the Le Mans course, Le Mans, whatever it's called, and where it's like a 4-minute lap, and it's just so beautiful.
Le Mans. I want more Le Mans.
And that
the best.
I want Le Mans all around my face, like in my eyes.
Put it in my mouth.
Anyway, I can't wait to go back to it when this onslaught of games
it's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen, but
it'll be slow. But I'm gonna get a grasp on it, a better.
That'll be a great palate cleanser in between anything you're playing, right? When you're into a racing game, that can be.
And there's plenty of games. I'm sure Kyle's mentioned like and we've talked about it before. How it's like there's practice laps which benefit you in your car level, so you should do them. But those add another 2 laps to what you're already 2 or 3 to what you're already going to do in the race. So it takes a while to finish.
So for some races, that's a long.
Yeah,
a long
yeah.
time.
Some of them are 3-minute laps. Yeah.
The last time I really got into a racing game was Forza Horizon 5, and it was mostly just making sure that Jeff and Dan didn't keep beating my top scores on certain challenges.
And you know what? For most of it, both of you are above me. Like for most of it. Yeah.
Same with Neon White.
When I would see that one of you passed me, I was like, What? Do they have no life? Why are they doing this? Fine, I'll do it.
What? Because I'm too fat. I'm too fast, too furious.
I would do exactly what you guys did, but then get mad at you for doing it. Like,
yeah, it's the same thing with me and Dan with Neon White. At least that first 10 levels where he aced, not just aced, but like got better than our scores. And I had to go back, and I think I went up to 1, and then as soon as I did that, he went up it again, and I was like,
hold on 1 second, hold my beer.
Yeah, I told him that, and he was like, hold on a minute. Yeah.
God, Neon White. Game of the year last year, guys. I don't know if you knew that. Game of the year.
One of them, in my opinion.
It was so good.
Especially
we're talking milliseconds with Neon White. The records. Yeah.
That's all it takes in that game. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So a whole bunch of new things have come out this week, of course. I'll go through the games list in a second, but let's start real quick with a major TV show that is certainly connected to video games, and that is Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix on Netflix. I don't know if you guys... Did any of you watch the entire series?
Just 3 episodes.
I've only gotten through 1. I'll probably keep watching it. But my problem is I just finished Edge Runners, which is up there with Arcane in terms of one of the best animated series I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's not even close to that.
And I'm also just now starting Castlevania. I just kind of started the first episode earlier today, and I was like, ooh, I love this a lot. And so it's my fault. Like if I had watched this by itself, Captain Laserhawk, I might like it more. But I'm just kind of like, it's fine. Like I see what they're doing. I like a lot of the humor. I just don't think I don't know if I was really prepared for I know it's a Blood Dragon thing, so I should have been prepared, but I wasn't prepared for like the full-on silliness of it all and all the Ubisoft stuff and
So
how
silly.
everyone's part of like all the different Ubisoft games that
Yep.
characters are connected. And then I don't know, I thought it was fine. And I think if you're in the right mood for some silliness and kind of over-the-top violence and all that kind of thing, you might dig it. But I don't know if you feel the same way, Jeff. It's not clicking for me right now, but I don't dislike it. It's just not what I'm in the mood for.
Well, I'm going to see it through for sure because it's only 6 episodes in that first season.
Episodes,
so,
yeah.
It could just be a miniseries too, because it does feel kind of random the way that they threw it out there. And
yeah,
and Ari Shankar, who did Castlevania, put his name on this. Like he did everything with this show.
Dude, that
so
guy
it feels like it's his baby.
He's a weirdo.
Yeah, he is. He's a little weird, but he's also like he knows how to adapt video games into cartoons. He knows.
Yeah.
He knows a lot about how to do that successfully, at least. I like that they put wrestlers in it. That's probably why I'm still with it, because they put Cody Rhodes in it. And
that was a funny moment. Yeah,
he plays a whiny baby, and he voiced himself for that role. And then Kenny Omega shows up later in like episode 3.
Okay,
who's been in the Yakuza games. He voiced himself as well, and I just thought that was really funny. I like the stylistic switches between sometimes it'll be like old pixel art graphics on like a side scrolling or like just a top down map and you're trying to stealth your way across or whatever.
Yeah, like in episode 1, that's a montage of them getting through this place. That's cool.
Is this the show that they did at Ubisoft's like E3 or whatever, where they entered? And I was just like, this guy's an idiot.
Well, he was talking about it way too much.
He's just weird. He's a weird dude.
I don't even remember that part at all. I must have fast forwarded.
Wasn't he like dressed weird too? He was wearing like something.
I don't remember what he was dressing, but I remember the marketing.
I wonder if it was one of the characters then, because it's a
probably
it's like a cyberpunk adjacent type of look. So it was the Ari guy. Yeah, he's a weird.
Yeah, it was Ari.
And he is very fond of himself. That's the sense I got to when I watched.
It's funny to see like Rayman, the super wholesome little Ubisoft mascot, in a super dark show, and he's like doing the news talking about all these people that are dying now, and I'm like, that's kind of weird but funny. I see what they're doing with Rayman in there, and then they've got even Jade from Beyond Good and Evil shows up. I'm just like, okay, like Ubisoft is really bringing in all the IP.
There you go. They released Beyond Good and Evil. It's
there
released.
You go. Now nobody can ask for it ever again. I think there's a French frog that plays an assassin.
He's an assassin.
Creed. Yeah. Like he's part of the Creed.
Well, I do like when there's someone right at the beginning. There's someone obviously banging on the door to come through, and he's like, "I sense an enemy." Like, yeah, no, we all sense that. Like they're right there. Like that was funny. Like, I'm not saying it's not.
Sometimes
funny.
It's a swing and a miss, though. It's not always funny, but sometimes it is really funny.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll stick with it because it's short.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's see. Old Dads. Mentioned that earlier. So Bill Burr's movie, which I believe he directed. I know he helped write. Him and a friend wrote it together, and I'm pretty sure he directed it. Of course, he stars in it. It's got Bobby Cannavale and Bokeem Woodbine, who I think still thinks one of the more underappreciated actors. He's so good in everything he's in.
So good.
I actually watched this on what day was it? Friday, maybe.
That's when it came out. Yeah.
Friday afternoon, maybe. I thought it's exactly what I expected from a movie that Bill Burr wrote and starred.
Called Old Dads, yeah.
Called Old Dads. It's like a lot of the jokes, exactly what I expected. Some of the stuff was a little surprising and funny, like caught me off guard and I chuckled at. But when it was all said and done, like I would only recommend it to folks who would also watch a Bill Burr special and enjoy it. I'm not gonna, not for everybody, but I
agree with that.
I thought it was funny. I did laugh at it. It's got Dylan from The Quarry, Miles Robbins, who's Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon's son. If you remember him from The Quarry, he's the one who you could cut his arm off, which I
chopped his arm off. I totally did.
Which I totally did, or his hand off, which I totally did. Anyway, he's in it. Some of the writing, not so much the delivery. Some of the writing is certainly a little bit too on the nose, taking a shot at like the young carbon-free, gender neutral, carbon neutral, all that kind of like. I get it, and those are funny, but after a while, it's kind of like, right, that's a little caricature. But then again, so are the old dads in the movie. Right. They're also caricatures. So like it fits.
They're supposed to be, but also I feel like Bill wants to show us. He's trying to show us something new, while also not showing us anything new at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I feel like he really does want to say something.
The rap scene in the car, I was laughing really hard at that part.
That was so funny.
That was so wonderful.
He almost said it too. He almost said, "Oh my god, dude."
There's this whole scene where there's a super woke younger guy in the car with the 3 old dads, and he's calling them out on their misogynistic joking and behavior. And so Bokeem Woodbine, who's the only black dude in the car, starts asking him what music he likes. Basically, he corners him on saying that he likes rap and NWA specifically. And he said, yeah, I rap all the words. And he's like, what happens when you get to the N word? Then what do you do? So he corners them on like, what does he actually do at that moment? And he makes him rap along with the song. It's just really awkward and well done. It's so funny. And then there's a callback to it later in the movie as well, which I thought I died laughing.
Yeah, the callback was really funny.
So anyway,
I like the whole
there are parts that are very funny.
I like Bill having to apologize for calling the principal a C word. That was really, really funny. And like his kid saying, Daddy, what's the and this kid says the word and he's like, it's just somebody that's overreacting for you being 5 minutes late. Something.
Yeah.
It's like so like he's still got his like good Bill Burrisms in there, but sometimes I just don't like anymore, at least. I'm kind of over when screenwriters, whoever that may be for this, I know it's Bill, but he co-wrote it at least. Yeah. Whenever they write a line having an older person saying, and my generation never did this. As soon as you say that, I'm like, I'm out on this joke.
Yeah.
Like I just don't. I'm kind of over it. Yeah. I'm just kind of done with that type of humor.
Right.
Right. But so I don't know. Some of it hit. It's kind of like the Captain Laser Bloodhawk Dragon, whatever. Some of it hit, some of it didn't for me.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. I think on Letterboxd, I think I gave it a 3 out of 5, or that's about what I feel like.
Yeah, I was around that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's decent. If you need like a decent comedy, and if you're in a Bill Burr mood of like, if you're just feeling annoyed and want to hear some ranting and what that kind of thing, it's that type of a vibe, right?
A Bill Burr rants.
Gotta love a good Bill Burr rant. All right. And then the major movie that came out this week is Killers of the Flower Moon, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, a whole bunch of other famous actors in a 3.5-hour movie. Jeff, overall thoughts on this? Give us 3.5 hours of your thoughts. Go.
Yeah, exactly. So my review should be like an hour at least, because that's cover everything. It was cool watching this to the soundtrack of the Taylor Swift Eras movie in the background.
What?
3.5 hours of this, and I'm hearing.
No way.
Were people screaming too, or
no, it wasn't that. It was.
I've heard
some
horror stories about that. Just everyone being just so unruly.
Really?
It's a cult. You guys are in a cult. If you're a Swiftie, you're a cultist. Anyway.
It feels that way. Yeah.
Cult. Sometimes it's a cult. But I was able to look past it because what I'm watching on the screen is so riveting for the entire runtime, which is. How is he doing that this late in his career, making movies that are that engaging on such a high level, and they're 3+ hours? And I'm like even Silence has moments which I love. I love the movie Silence with Adam Driver.
Same.
Adam Driver. I'm Spanish. And Andrew Garfield, and they're playing like priests that try to pretty much indoctrinize Japan, and Japan is like.
Well, Japan was really chill about it though. They were
really
very
chill about
Catholicism and Christianity coming over.
You don't
so
bring Catholicism to a place that's going to torture you and murder you over it. That's so silly to me. Whatever.
It does, and it did.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing: that movie had pretty slow moments. That was like you didn't have to linger on this, even though that movie is pretty awesome.
Okay, I can see what you're saying.
But Killers of the Flower Moon doesn't have. I'm racking my brain since I saw it, and I'm like, what could he take out? And it's nothing. Like. I can't think of a single scene that isn't essential to the entire movie, because you need to see Leonardo DiCaprio's introduction to being part of De Niro's little small Osage empire, and how DiCaprio starts to participate in it. It's based on a true story. It's like all you can stuff you could Wikipedia, and like how did it end? Like how did this guy get caught? Basically, like the De Niro's character. Again, totally real life stuff. It's history. I'm not spoiling the movie so much, yeah, so you needed that whole runtime, and there's even like courtroom stuff in there with Brendan Fraser shows up, plays De Niro's lawyer. He's such a great. I know you guys were talking about it, and I'm like, I have news for you? Do I have news for you? He's got like a 2 or 3 minutes worth of lines maybe total, but he is a commanding presence in this movie. Like it's a very memorable role for him. Jesse Plemons shows up like in the third act, like maybe by hour 3. And by that point, I'm like, he's just now showing up. Like, and I was like, how much more movie is left? And the whole time, I was just like, he's just equally a magnetic performer. Like, it's hard to pinpoint what it is about him, but he's being so nonchalant about everything, and he's just like about presenting the facts. Whereas DiCaprio's character is so coming unglued, basically, at the idea of having to lie about something.
Yeah.
this is definitely one of DiCaprio's best performances, like period.
Dang.
Like it's up there with The Revenant, Wolf of Wall Street. Like it's could earn him another Oscar. I mean, who else is there right now? There's not another Elvis. There's not another guy pretending to be Elvis in real life too. Like, wasn't that weird? Like Austin Butler's like, I still got the Elvis voice. I can't get rid of it.
That's very strange.
You're so full of crap,
deep
dude.
method acting.
Yeah. Oh, just so method about it.
Dude, I was just looking. Scorsese's last 3 major movies, right? Were 3 hours plus, or maybe at least 2.
Irishman definitely was.
Irishman was
Yeah.
3 hours
felt it
29
with that
minutes,
one.
and Killers of the Flower Moon was 3 hours and 26 minutes. I think that's his new like goal, 3.5 hour.
He's just like,
Yeah.
fuck it. We're just gonna do a full miniseries, 5 hours, 6 hours. Next movie.
Wait, how long was Silence? Oh, Silence was only 2:41.
It was. It was not 3
yeah,
hours.
a quick,
still a-
brisk 241.
But that did not
It's a long
feel
movie.
short.
That's
That
very
did not
long,
feel
yeah.
short. Yeah. This one, it's not that it felt short, but I certainly wasn't like, come on, let's go. I gotta play Spider-Man.
Okay.
Like I wasn't like worried. I never once thought about time because it was just that engaging and like so freaking good. And the only thing that held it back for me from being like a perfect movie is Scorsese makes a choice, and it's clearly his choice. You'll see what I mean when you get to the moment at the very end of the movie that I'm like, you didn't need to do that at all. That was so unnecessary. And like, it reminded me of BlacKkKlansman. You just saw that, Tim.
I did. Yeah.
And the end of that showing footage of present day that I was like, you didn't need to show that at all. Like you made your point with the Burning Cross.
I thought that was such a misstep by Spike Lee.
Me
You weren't
too.
here for that, and I actually didn't bring that up, but you're right. And so this is similar, where maybe not a modern day footage.
It's not
but
the
like,
exact same thing where it's like a shot for shot thing, but there's something that he does at the end that's like, why did it's jarring. It removes you from the movie.
yeah, that did it to me for the BlacKkKlansman movie because I was
Yeah.
like, they made some great points, and I loved it. I loved the nuance. That was great.
Right.
And then all subtlety was removed as they were kind of like, look at what's happening in our country today. I was like, oh,
Right.
boy. All right.
Yeah, because I
You
think
lost me now.
the shot of the eternal flame burning cross at the end of the movie
That was-
should have been the ending shot of the
It
movie.
hit. Yeah.
It hit hard, and that was more powerful than seeing. If you're not getting it yet, here's what happened in wherever it was, Charlottesville. I don't remember where it was.
Colorado Springs.
Yeah, Colorado Springs too, I guess.
That's where it was. That's where it was happening.
I thought that car thing, the person.
Oh, I
getting
thought
hit
you
by
meant
a
the
car
movie
in-
was set. Yeah. I thought
So
you meant where the movie was actually set. I see what you're saying.
I didn't
Yeah,
realize it was set. Okay, so now that I know more about Colorado geography, that's interesting. I have to rewatch that movie now.
that movie's set in. It says Colorado Springs many times, and I was
Yeah.
like, great, awesome, sweet. I'm glad.
By
this
the
is
way,
set here.
DiCaprio's amazing in this. Not only that, but De Niro's great as a crow. He's a crow. A crow.
Wait, like the Crow? He's the Crow?
No, it's the dudesy bit. But
I'm a crow.
he's more like a Southern guy, and he says he's like your racist uncle, like everybody's favorite racist uncle. He says a lot of very directly racist things. God, who else is in this? There are a bunch of songwriters that are in this randomly, and they're all kind of great. Jason Isbell is amazing in this. He plays like a creepy guy who he's like a for those that don't know, like an alternative country, more like a Americana musician, singer, songwriter. And the way he carries himself is like so like annoyingly like gentle in the way he talks, and you're like so put off by how creepy it comes off. And then Pete Yorn shows up, Jack White shows up, like Sturgill Simpson, all these songwriters, and I'm like, what do they have to do with this? This is so interesting. Like, did he? I don't know. It was just weird that he put all those people in there. And then the main actress in it, Lily Gladstone, her character Molly is DiCaprio's wife, and she's probably gunning for an award too, I would imagine, because she is incredible in the movie. Yeah, it's just amazing. But fortunately, it is an Apple movie, so that means it'll be in front of your TVs soon enough, I'm sure. If you want to pace out the watch instead of sitting in a theater for it.
All right, good. All right, I was close to showing you what I showed to Derek earlier.
What did it? I don't even know what it started at.
I'm just messing. I just was doing that to Derek earlier.
Oh,
I didn't actually set a
what did
timer.
it even start at? I don't even know.
I just now set it for like 30 seconds.
Oh, I see.
To be silly. I'm being silly, guys. Just the jokes.
Being silly goose.
All right. No, we have a long episode. That's what we do. We talk about stuff we care about. So I'm excited to see Killers of a Flower
Yeah, I'm
Moon.
really excited to catch that one.
I did.
Do we know when that's coming? I mean, obviously, when is it coming to Apple?
I think
Gotta be
Scorsese
holiday.
bent them over a table and said, "You are not going to give them a release date for streaming until after a theatrical run." And so they have said nothing about when it's
It's got to
coming
be
streaming.
holiday, though, right? That seems like something that's got to be
I
holiday.
predict because it's an award movie, December,
Yeah.
January. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
at least
it's probably my
great
most
for
anticipated movie.
Certainly for the rest of the year. Now Dune doesn't exist, right? So.
God, I'm so mad.
Well,
about
you got
this.
Marvels. You got Marvels, guys.
Got the Marvels.
Oh yeah, the Marvels.
Yeah.
That looks
Yeah.
like
Marvels.
it's not gonna
That
beat
might
us
be
over
the
the head with
first.
any messaging.
That might be the first one I don't see in theaters.
Yeah.
You know
know,
why
guys. I see that
I
trailer.
don't.
and
I'm like
get,
so
I
fatigued.
see everything.
get literal
Yeah.
chills. Just kidding. I don't.
Literal chills. The cat is back, you guys.
I feel like it's being advertised to me a lot, and I don't have strong feelings about it. Like I'm not
its
like
projections are really low. It's like I
just don't care.
There's just like this really weird vibe about it. I don't know.
Well,
I think
it looks like
that's
it's
what's
shot
weird
like
is
a TV show. Like
even-
it doesn't look that good. visually.
Yeah.
even Marvel stuff that's come out that I'm like maybe I'll see it in the theater or not, but I'm still kind of excited that it's happening. This is the first time I've
Guardians
seen it.
3
And
was one. It was like I was so
Guardians
excited
3 was
to see it.
so fun. Yeah.
But this is the first time that I literally it's almost like, oh, that's not for me. Next thing. Like I just have lost interest. I don't know.
I wonder if it's still the Brie Larson thing. People really are just.
Well,
adamant
I like
about
Brie
I think
it.
there's
Larson, yeah.
I think there's
problem with that, but you
carryover
could be
from the
right.
Brie Larson hate, and like
Yeah.
I
There's some
don't
of that.
But for me personally,
I don't
like,
have a
that's
strong
not,
opinion about it. But yeah.
I don't.
I know
I'm
it's not the case for us, but
Yeah.
you know.
This
There's
team
just
up
a- there's
just
just a
feels
Don't
like
weird
it's
air
speak
about
for
it, I
me,
don't know.
Dan. Don't speak for me, Dan.
Well, I mean, you hate all
Derek's
women.
our
I
biggest fan.
literally have a IHateBrieLarson.com website.
Oh,
so-
cool.
Oh, you're holding
Sure.
it. That's probably worth
Sure.
something.
Oh,
You're
that's you.
holding it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're holding that down. Yeah, no, I think it's just the team up and the vibe of it. I'm just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just not that interested in it. I don't mind
There's
the actors.
nothing urgent in it that makes me go, I really need to see this team up.
I thought it would be a
Like there's not
show.
like we're gonna
Looks like a
also
show.
introduce this crazy villain that's gonna show up more than
I just hope
once.
they do like a slow walk, all three of them.
Oh, they totally will.
together.
With the
That's
cat
happening,
too. With the
yeah.
cat. They're totally doing it with
Listen,
the
they
cat.
happening.
might finally mention the whatever the hell the thing is that came out of Earth. I can't even remember.
Immortals and Humans or whatever.
Guess
the
what?
hell it was
That's
called,
never
or
gonna happen, Dan.
That's never gonna happen.
Eternals.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Could not even remember the name of the movie.
I like to think that at the Marvel Studios, they've got everything storyboarded up, like all the things they have to make sure that they keep in sync.
Sure.
And that's the one that everyone's like, we don't have to talk about that one.
It's kind of like a poker chip. You slowly move across the table.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige slowly moving that
He
off the
moves it
bulletin
across.
board.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's it would be so funny if the Marvel Spider-Man games are the first ones to be like, do you guys remember that shit that happened in Eternals?
If they reference it, I would love it so much.
We'll take
Oh
that
my
storyline.
Yeah. All right, so some games that have come out this week that aren't one of the. There's really two major ones, and there's one that I think is at least worth mentioning too. But here's some of the smaller things that are. I'll just go through the list here real quick. Some of you might have been playing some of these. We got Galactic Civilizations 4, Forgive Me Father 2, Kona 2, Broom. I don't know what that is. Wizard with the Gun. We've talked about that. That's a fun little game. Give that one a look.
Conan.
It's good.
Skull Island: Rise of Kong. We'll talk about that in a second. That is such a hilarious.
That's one of the
game.
main four ones we're gonna have to talk
That
about.
we have to talk
Yeah.
about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Leica Age Through Blood, which Jeff talked about the demo last week, and I was chiming in on that a little bit. Getting great reviews, by the way.
Yeah, like
So,
9s and 8s. Yeah.
You just have to have a strong stomach for the
Mhm.
violence we referenced, but great reviews for that one. Gargoyles Remastered is apparently, from what I'm hearing, cool looking, not great to play. Plays like
Yeah,
an old
I've
game.
seen like 5s and stuff. That's
Yeah,
disappointing.
people are saying like it's only if you've played it and loved it and want to revisit it. That's the only
Sure.
because they didn't really. It doesn't seem like they made the game any better to play.
just re-released.
Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, which I think people are enjoying. I think that one's getting decent response. So
It's getting pretty good reviews. Yeah.
Hellboy Web of Word. Is that how you say it?
I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
I saw on
Word.
Steam it's actually getting mostly positive reviews. It says, but I know that critically it's getting not great response. And then Diablo 4 did hit Steam. Of course, it has mixed reviews because it's a powder keg.
Blizzard.
Yeah.
But I have heard that there are actually some issues with connections and crossplay.
I'll
I've
go
heard there's
figure.
some-
They're
there's some
still not
issues.
prepared for this. It's so insane.
But anyway, that is on Steam now as well. Okay, guys, before we talk about Sonic, Mario, and Spider-Man, Skull Island: Rise of Kong is a video game that released in 2023. If you look at Dan's screen, if you're watching on video, this just looks like, oh, Dan made a funny with some Sonic, Mario, and Spider-Man stuff, right? No, Dan literally just took actual images from this game and put it onto this thumbnail. That's all he did. These are
I think
actual.
This studio was totally financed by Bethesda to get people off of Starfield's nuts for the weird faces.
Conspiracy.
I love that
Conspiracy.
conspiracy. Yeah,
I like that conspiracy a lot too. This is the same team, if I saw correctly, that has done a lot of other licensed IPs, including recent games like the Cobra Kai game that came out. They'll just take, they'll just buy a license and make absolute garbage, and just release it. It'll make money because of the license, and it'll get featured like this one has been. And they'll make enough money on it to make it worth their time.
Who's buying these games?
No shit.
Man.
At $40 or whatever too, or whatever it is.
I don't know. Well, Jeff, we talked about before you got here. Kong's actually 50 on Switch.
50
raised it $10. No, it's 40 everywhere else.
It's 40 everywhere else,
on
50 on Switch. Yeah,
because it runs that much better on Switch.
Probably.
What it is.
No, yeah, I would
It
love to
suddenly
know the
looks 4K
justification.
on Switch. Yeah.
The
Kong on
condensed
the go.
OLED screen, helps.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So yeah, this game is getting absolutely blasted. Some of the clips that people have shown, and I've seen people with no other commentary other than just a caption that says actual gameplay. And
Yes.
And then you can just watch like a couple minutes at a time of clips of this game in action, whether you're fighting or it's a cutscene. Some of the worst.
Dude, I even tried watching the MK Ice and Fire, who's a great resource for like watching playthroughs of all games, period. And when Derek shared that in the chat, it was like 3 hours, 3.5 hours. And I was like, there's no, it says part 1 in the thumbnail, but the actual link says full game.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way that's the full game. And yeah, that's the full game for $50 on Switch and $40 apparently and everything else.
Yeah.
And not only that, I looked through it to look for memeage and funny stuff, and it looks so colossally boring. That's the most criminal thing about the game.
Yeah.
Other than being ugly, is like it looks so not fun to play.
Yeah.
And I was
My
just
favorite
like,
though
bored
is the clip of someone who clearly didn't finish an animation and put a still image.
Yeah,
that's the best.
That's the tops. Discovery.
is
Like the
best
dinosaur thing, like leaping out, right?
That's
And
better
all of a
than
sudden it just
Gollum.
shows the still.
Gollum dying for no reason in all those clips that we saw.
Dude, but Golem is now like target off my back. This is
yeah.
crazy, You know what's
Golem's
funny
like
about this
second.
game though is that people are streaming it and it probably will make its money back because people have to buy it to stream it. That's what's funny to me is that
It's
like
true. Yeah.
it's so bad that people are buying it and streaming it in mass and like it probably will make its money back.
And they're not
because
gonna
there was
learn
obviously no
anything.
budget to this game, so if it sold 3 copies, it probably made its budget back. So
They played the janitor that made it. Yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah, they're not going to learn anything from this because this
No,
game
nothing.
is-
Yeah.
It's got so much marketing just from how bad it is that their curiosity alone is going to sell a lot of copies. So wow. Okay, so that is a game that actually released. I do recommend go on whatever social media platform you prefer, or even just YouTube, and go look at some clips of Skull Island: Rise of Kong.
Yeah,
It is a
it's
good
definitely
time. It's a real good time.
Worth a peep.
Yeah. Sonic Superstars came out this week, and people are friggin' loving that game. I know, Dan, you got it. What do you think about this game?
So my wife grew up as more of her and her siblings were more the Sega kids as opposed to, the antithesis Nintendo as Nintendo kids. So Sonic wasn't something that I grew up with as opposed to Mario. So it just has never resonated with me as strongly.
Okay.
But I do enjoy them.
You hate it. I got
enjoy
it. Yeah.
I think something that for the past few Sonic games that are co-op that I just realized it pretty early on. I don't think they're fun to play with someone because it's just too chaotic and too fast. There's just too much there's too much speed, momentum with like whoever it is, like because the camera doesn't know who to focus on sometimes. Like if I'm just shooting off ahead and through a loop or something, but she's getting stuck back here, then suddenly she's not on the screen anymore. So then she has to like hit X to teleport to me. And sometimes vice versa. So it's like you're not really fully playing together the whole time because you're just kind of like getting left behind, and then you're having to teleport back to whatever is the main person that the camera's fixating on. And that's I've only done co-op with Superstars. It's just been me and her playing. I haven't like played by myself. I think it does feel good. I don't think it feels like bad or super clunky or anything.
Can you swap visual styles while you're playing it?
No, but there are skins for the characters.
Okay.
Because I got the Lego skins, which is actually kind of funny watching like Sonic run as a Lego, and then when he does the speed thing, like it's just clearly like the plastic jaggies like of him like spinning, and then he looks like a saw, which is
All right,
pretty
that's
funny.
pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like the music hasn't stood out to me too much because I think the Sonic series. Yeah, because the Sonic series has some pretty solid music actually.
Yeah, even like the not like poppy music, like their old school like Genesis like music. It was known for having great music, so that's a bummer.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not like awful, but it's not like sticking out to me as like, oh, this is a fun bop. Like, and the backgrounds I think are a little underwhelming. But like it's also because it's not. I don't know. I think Sonic excels more when it's old. Like I think Sonic Mania was great visually because it's old school Sonic. It's pixelated and that's what it started out as. And I think it's like a Sonic Mania is a good homage to the series of like where it started. And this is trying to be like 3D, but like feel classic and old school. And I just don't think it works as well as it does pixelated.
Gotcha.
But I don't think it's like an ugly game by any means. I just think it looks better when it's pixelated.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, so it's not bad. We've played about 5 levels. I don't know how many levels there are overall, or worlds, or whatever you want to call them. But we're like 5 in, and yeah, I mean it's fun. But I'd say it's like it's a swimming in sevens for me.
Grab on a sale, maybe.
Yeah. It was. I think it's $40. I don't think it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Let me check.
Is it a new game or like a collection of old ones?
It's a new one.
It's new. It's new. I do like kind of like there's one of the main new things is just like certain areas where you're running, but then there's like sort of a loop in the background, like a half pipe, whatever you want to call. I don't skateboard, so I don't know. But like you kind of run up it, and then like you can grab some coins, and then you run back down. It looks cool when it happens.
That's cool.
But like you have to get the momentum going and like hit that part exactly right for that to like actually happen.
Because it's rings, not coins.
Rings. I need all the rings.
Come on.
Good job, Tim. Good catch.
Yeah. You're welcome, Gaston. You're welcome.
Actually, funny. My wife still calls them. So she's the Sonic person, but she will always call them coins. And I have to. I'm like, honey, it's rings.
Mario has ruined coins.
Mario
keeps.
And anything gold and pick upable is a coin. To a lot of people.
Coin.
Yeah. A nice fun fact. Sonic the Hedgehog's real name is Ogilvy Maurice Hedgehog. So do with that whatever you want. Ogilvy Maurice Hedgehog is Sonic's real name.
I'm gonna need some community notes on that one. Where's your source? I don't know. That can't be real.
That's canon, guys.
Is Sonic like a like a nickname like Jack is for whatever Joseph? What the fuck am I thinking of? Joe or Joseph?
For what?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
How does that translate to Sonic? Is my question. That's
I don't know. Yeah, that's just a weird piece of information. Much like Yoda's original name was like Minch, like in some, but they never really took it to screen,
It was like Minch.
It was, yeah. Yoda's original name was Minch.
Listen, you little
Yoda Minch.
What a Minch.
But now we have Ogilvy Maurice Hedgehog. So anytime y'all say Sonic, I don't know what you're talking about because I only know Ogilvy.
Sure.
Yeah. Only casuals say Sonic.
Yeah.
This is in fact a $60 game. So yeah, I would.
It is 60. I guess I didn't realize
Dan,
that. So
how
what
did you
do you
not
think the
know
sweet
how
spot
much you
is?
paid?
Yeah, Dan's got too much money, guys. Confirmed.
I'm just
what would you say it's worth? Is that a $30 game? Is it a 40? Would you buy it for 40?
Yeah, I think 40 is comfortable.
Well, apparently he would buy it for 60.
He'd buy it for. He's saying 60.
Yeah,
that's just facts.
All right, so you'd say it's a 7 out of 10. You spent 60. Someone do 70% of 60. That's how much it's worth. That's how we're gonna do this math.
There we go.
That's how reviews work now. That's how reviews work now.
That number for you, Tim. I'm gonna be the accountant of the podcast.
That's right. Thank you, Jeff. Crunch the numbers. Can you just crunch them one more time? Just can you crunch?
$40. That's exactly what Dan was saying.
Is it $40?
Yeah.
All right. There you go. 7 out of 10. That's confirmed, guys. That's the new way we're gonna look at all review scores from now on. Is whether or not like how much money was it worth? Like a 9 out of 10 means it was worth 90% of what you spent on it. That's what it means.
That's how they should do it.
Yeah, what a dumb way to look at it, but
I know
just as dumb as thinking the number is the most important thing, right? So, all right, Super Mario Brothers Wonder also came out this week, and at least a couple of us are playing it. Dan, I know you're streaming it too, and I didn't get a chance to hop on the stream to check that out because I was also playing it and finishing Assassin's Creed Mirage.
That's fair.
But Super Mario Brothers Wonder, I think Kyle, you mentioned this, and I'll see what you think about it as well. Get your thoughts on it. It might be the most colorful game I've ever played outside of like super trippy indie games that are out there that maybe are like over the top with all the colors. Like maybe what was that music one from a year or two ago?
Like
Grease
one that was.
We played guitar in space. It was a pretty fun.
It's an indie game.
Yeah, the art.
Yeah, Artful Escape. So games like that, of course, take the cake when it comes to just colors in your eyeballs, and you can't like it's crazy. But as far as like mainstream games go, this is one of the most colorful games. It's definitely the most colorful Mario game I've seen, and there's a lot of colorful Mario games out there. And it just kind of bursts off the screen. I think playing on that OLED, I think it's really pretty. What do you think about it, Kyle? I know you played it a little bit. What are your thoughts on Mario Brothers Wonder so far?
I like how they just get it out. Like first level, they're like, you're an elephant. You know, like they immediately give you that power. So it's not like you're. It's not like you're like, here, jump over pipes in your first level. Yeah. It's like, no, immediately we want to show you what we're all about. Here we go. Yeah, on the OLED, it looks good. I still have not checked it out on the TV yet. I'm sure it looks great there as well.
It looks great on my 1080p monitor. It looks fantastic.
But yeah, in handheld mode, it's just it feels great. It's just the amount of times they can like redo a 2D Mario and still be like, see guys, we still got it. It's totally crazy to me because like at some point there's only so many things you can do on a 2-dimension plane. You know what I mean? Right. But like they just keep on figuring out new ways to do it. And I'm having a good time, you know. It's classic Mario. It's a little more my speed. Once you get into 3D platforming, for me, like my brain is just like so I do like these types of Marios a little more personally, even though the other 3D ones are always great because they always do something new and big and reinventing. But I'm having a good time with this one though, for sure. I've gotten, maybe I'm 12 or 13 stages in. Like I played about an hour or so. It is interesting that all the characters play the same, you know, but like there are some, I guess, key different, or wait, do they play the same? I actually can't remember that. Maybe I'm thinking
of them don't take damage.
Yeah.
Yoshi's and Nabbit and Yoshi's.
And I think Yoshi's swallowing ability is different. Like
I haven't tried the other characters yet. I've just played Mario.
I haven't either. Yeah, I just went right into Mario and just.
You noticed the new Mario voice? Does it stand out to you?
I forgot about that.
I would have never known. Unless like the internet told me so.
The voice sounds very much like a pronoun person. Just throwing that out there.
What does that even mean?
What? Yeah, what?
Oh, there were people, you know, or we'll just call them people because you know they're obviously just fucking cartoon characters on social media. They were like, "Oh, I guess Mario's going woke now," and then they circled his bio, his about me section on his Twitter account that said
for the actor.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow. All right.
Oh, Mario's going woke now, guys.
Oh
my big take is that like immediately he didn't sound like Chris Pratt, so I was like, "What Mario is this? I don't know. I don't know what this is." You know.
We're in Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah. Where's Chris Pratt Mario? No, I'm liking it a lot though. Like this is like the perfect pooping game. This is the perfect like I'm at work. Let me just knock out. Like I'm on break. Let me knock out.
It's about to be my airplane game. I'm flying to the East Coast for this week for work. It's gonna be a great airplane game. It's also one that like I won't feel bad if you know how if you're using a screen on an airplane, and maybe you guys aren't as aware of this. I don't know, but I'm always keeping an eye on. Like I don't want my kids to watch something horrible on someone else's screen, and I have to like keep an eye on that. So I don't want to. I wouldn't watch Edge Runners on my phone on an airplane.
Oh, why is that one?
Nearby. There's just some stuff.
I like watching that lesbian movie Bound on my flight.
Okay, but this actually happened to me on my flight. I was flying out for a family funeral this past spring, and I was playing some Switch. I was catching up on some Switch games, and I fired up Bayonetta 3.
Oh yeah,
Booby Netta.
Mostly fine. If you kind of glance at it, it just looks like a fast-paced action game. But there was some little kid like behind me a little bit to the side, and he was just like
he's just Bethesda-izing it.
Because I was doing, hey Kyle, what's the move that she does? She's just dancing while people are. She's just doing her little.
She's just doing her little dance, kind of naked, while her hair is doing all the.
And the monsters are fighting.
Naked.
All that's happening. So anyway, all that to say, this is a great game for that. Yes, it's a great game for the poop time, but it's also good for traveling and when the TV's occupied.
The stages are like under 2 minutes long, so like to knock out one or two, like it just takes no time. You know?
I do like the
perfect podcast.
It's back to the.
It is, Back
to Mario style of go back through the level to collect the coins that you missed, or the extra wonder seed that you missed, or whatever else. Like, I like that kind of stuff too. Like, you don't have to. You can just plow through the game and just play it. But
that's not in my blood. I can't let it go.
Yeah, I know. But I do love being like, oh, if I stomp on this tree, I discovered that by accident, stomped on a tree and it launched me up into this cloud area. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that was
cool.
here.
Yeah, I must have missed that. That's cool.
And like those charging bulls that are coming at you, I messed it up. I went too far ahead. They charged, and then I needed to restart the level to go back, stomp the tree down, and then let them go across to clear the way for me. Little things like that I'm just like, this level design is so good. Derek was talking about level design with Lords of the Fallen, which is his biggest gripe with that. There's other things too, but the level design makes a difference. And this is just a great example of how Nintendo knows how to craft a level experience from start to finish. And then they keep plugging in these cool little secrets and extra things here and there.
Like I said, like they somehow are still figuring out like these little things. Like it's like, oh, you're still like, I'm still getting that feeling of like when I was a kid, like, playing Mario for the first time. Like, this is crazy, man. All these secrets and like all these fun little like
Mario 3 was the first time I had that feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Which this this is reminding me of a little bit, because there's even like there's like the little hut that you go into that has the chest.
Right. Yeah.
Which in Mario 3, there's the 3 of them, right? So you choose one and you get a unique power up. So like
and you carry power ups into like the next level or whatever. Yeah.
It feels really good too. It feels more like World to me. And I've seen people compare it to that, and I was like, what are they talking about? And as soon as I played it, I got it. The new Super Mario Brothers games are all really fun. I played the crap out of those games on the DS systems, on the Wii, and played the Wii U. But they never really became instant classics for me. I was like, man, this is more fun Mario platforming. These are a good time. But this one feels different. It just feels more like, oh, this is the real next side-scrolling Mario. Like those were different.
Well, I don't know, because I didn't fully play those ones, so I guess I can't speak to them.
The coin one was awesome. They were all good.
Yeah.
Well, like what you're saying, I think I kind of felt it when I played that Wii one. I was like, this feels like more fun Mario, but there's nothing like new to it that's grabbing me. But this one, like you can get like these badges, which give you these little extra.
The little
like,
hat
abilities.
thing is so cute, right?
Yeah, the parachute hat ability or
parachute hat, or the wall jump, but like it's not you're bouncing off, you go up actually, which is really cool because it gives you that little extra boost of air going upward, and then you can jump off. So like I don't know, it adds a little extra of like something new, because that's never been a thing as far as I know in these side-scrolling Marios. Adding these badges, like if you that little
like,
extra.
You remember in World when you got the cape and you figured out how to do the floating thing for the first time? Like, those little elements were just like, this is unreal. This is crazy.
Agreed.
They call it Mario Wonder, but I think whimsical is also a good word. This game is very whimsical.
Yeah, very, very happy. Yeah.
It's just a silly goose time.
The overworld is kind of cool. I thought it was going to be a really straightforward, like the new Super Mario Brothers game is very straightforward. You can move between dots on the map, and this has that at first, and then you have these little open areas where you can walk around and go to whatever level you want. I kind of like that too. And then you can kind of see, oh, I missed the purple coin on here. Let me go back in and try to find that kind of thing.
Let me go back in and try 18 more times to try and get that.
To get that stupid coin.
That was me literally with the 4th level, and the first 3 levels are introductory.
Yeah.
With the 4th level, I'm doing what Tim was talking about.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept falling off of the bowls anytime I would trigger the Wonder flower. I kept falling off of the bowls that were flying around. I was like, son of a bitch.
That stampede though on that Wonder flower thing is pretty cool.
Oh, so amazing. Anytime you activate the Wonder flower is just incredible.
It's so cool, Just watching everything
visual and audio kicks in. It's like, what is it's a trip. It's a literal trip.
I love the little music notes and how they actually become something. That's really cool.
But the secret's also in the overworld too, which is very Mario 3-esque as well.
I haven't seen it. I haven't found any of those yet. I haven't looked, but I haven't found any of
Yeah,
those.
there's just like if you kind of there was like a spot where like there was something in the foreground like blocking visually, but if you just walk kind of behind it, there was like find something. So
cool.
little extra coins or whatever. Like so there's clearly like if you kind of meander around the sort of little open areas in that world map, which is really cool. So
I love that when a game says basically we're going to reward you even with something little for just poking around, like for just checking all the corners. Like I do like when a game does that. They just give you a reward. Dude, this game is just pure happiness. You're right, whimsical. Like it just has that to me, this is my version of a racing game where there's no story here. There's no like I got to see what happens next. This is my kind of racing game where I will just jump in and play a few levels of Mario as opposed to jump in to race. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what this kind of game is for me. So I absolutely love it, and it's a great kind of palate cleanser, change of pace between some of these other things. So
completely different than anything else that's out right now, honestly.
Quite a difference in quality. No offense to Sonic, but quite different.
Unfortunate release times for Sonic, I guess specifically. Yeah.
I definitely think that this is a much better game for sure.
All right, guys. Let's talk about Spider-Man 2. Before that, we've got a little bit of time. Pull out your devices or open a browser.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Go to KAHOOT.it.
I can't wait for Kyle to cheat and win this. All right, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great.
Reigning champion.
Right.
My heart's not in it tonight, so if I lose, just know it's because I wanted to lose, not because I actually lost.
Because I wanted to lose.
I'm just, I'm not in a I need to win type of mood,
Sure.
Can you guys see this?
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. Thanks, Dan.
Can you guys see my?
Yeah, actually, we can. First try.
Yes, I can.
Sweet. Yeah, just certain browsers with Skype either cooperate or they don't. So here we go. All right, so go to kahoot.it and put in that game pin. All right, guys, we're obviously, well, just as a recap, while the guys log in there, we've gone over everything from video game quotes, celebrities in video games. We did one that was called Pokemon or Street Fighter, and that was kind of a silly one. Where we're trying to figure out, was this the name of Pokemon or a fighting move from Street Fighter, which was pretty fun. Who published this game? Name that video game weapon. Is it turn-based? A whole bunch of fun quizzes we've gone over. This one, obviously, is a Spider-Man video game quiz. Not Spider-Man, the comic book history. Oh, this is good. We've got the cheater and Kyle cheats. Oh, wow. That's good. Okay. I'm just going to say your names. Oh, my gosh. That is so good. How did that get through?
I don't know.
That's
crazy. Yeah.
But Derek's continuing his hatred of Lords of the Fallen. That's actually one of my favorite running things right now is how much Derek hates this game. But he spent 50 hours playing it and love hates it. All right, guys. Ready to go?
Sure.
Only got 8 questions. It's not a super long quiz. And this is all about Spider-Man video gaming. It's not about the comic book or the character origin, anything like that. This is just about Spider-Man in gaming. So here we go. All right, question number 1. And make sure you take a look at the pictures and GIFs. I spent a lot of time. They're really funny. All right, here we go.
Tim.
Yeah. Not a lot of time. The first official Spider-Man video game released in 1982 on these 2 platforms, Apple II and ZX Spectrum, Atari 2600 and Odyssey 2, Sega Master System and NES, or Arcade and IBM PC.
Oh, jeez.
Which one is it? It was Atari 2600.
Oh my god,
dude, that image.
I got it.
This is actually a screenshot of the game right here. For real.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Dude, what the hell?
Wow.
Yep. Hey, 1982.
Oh, I just put together that the little black line was his webbing.
That's his web.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
They didn't use white.
It was like a vertical action game where you have to make your way up.
Vertical action.
And I'm guessing these are your lives right here, the spiders, right? Anyway.
Yeah. Sure.
And I guess those are people that you save in the yellow building with nothing but windows.
All right, so Jeff got that one right.
Yes.
Because his name is Kyle Cheats.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Next one, number 2. Which Spider-Man video game first introduced 3D gameplay? Was it Spider-Man the PS1, The Amazing Spider-Man Web of Fire 32X, Ultimate Spider-Man on PS2, or Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage on the SNES Genesis?
That is a great GIF.
I love it.
It
was Spider-Man.
Maximum Carnage, by the way, one of the greatest side-scrolling
I really want to play it. It looks awesome.
It's so good. Yeah.
That game is gritty.
Oh, the cheater.
Let's just watch this again one more time because it was 3D.
This one I knew for sure. Yeah.
From cheating.
Because the 3D space. Okay.
It's coming.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Get it, guys. Hey, it's
Get
3D.
It, guys. It hits him in the face. All right, so the cheater has taken the lead. Shaggy Nard's in second place. Good job, guys. Kyle cheats in third, and then Lords of the Fallen does stuff. No points yet. Here we go. What is the last Spider-Man movie to get a video game adaptation?
Oh my gosh, dude.
Was it Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man Homecoming, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, or Spider-Man 2?
I know the answer.
It
was. I didn't know that one. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, you don't have to compensate for your cheating. It's okay.
Bone saws ready.
It's not the last time we'll see Macho Man in this quiz. All right. Shaggy Nards is taking the lead.
Dig it. The cream of the crop. Always rises.
Which game development studio has been credited with the most Spider-Man games? At least a co-credit in development. Is it Vicarious Visions, Gameloft, Treyarch, or Beanox?
Ah, damn.
That one I knew.
It is
Okay,
Beanox.
traded.
Yeah, they've been credited.
No, because I played every single one of them.
And this was just for fun. This was just a good time. And it's a long, long gift.
that scene is so long. Oh
it
my
just
God.
keeps going. It's
And it's
It
so
just keeps going.
That's
It's
fun.
just
some of my
Peter trying
favorite
to-
long cutaways from them are the ones that I'm like, yeah, I've done that. I've literally done that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the one when he hits his knee and he just keeps going.
Yeah, I've done that. That was me like walking around my house going, is it gonna stop hurting? Like
All right, here we go. That moves the cheater up to first place. All right.
who
All
could have
right.
seen this coming?
Seen it coming? All right. Number 5. Which publisher had the rights to Spider-Man games from 2000 to 2014? Was it Activision, Marvel Comics? Yes, it was.
Ugh, dang. Wrong A.
The other options were Sony Interactive and Acclaim, but Activision had it for those 14 years. There you go. There's a little tip.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That one.
That's a
An
classic.
all-time great. That and
Just Tobey Maguire's face trying to
oh
hold
God,
the tray.
what was another one? No, there was another one that
The
was
crying one, right?
the crying
where
one.
he's
Thank
just-
you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
Spider-Man
my
3.
God.
Yeah.
All right, let's see how that moves our placements. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Ooh, so close.
The cheater has moved into last place. Good job, Lords of the Fallen. All right. Here we
Go.
go.
Fallen's biggest fan.
Number
That's how I'm
6.
taking that.
In Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, which version of Spider-Man is not a playable character?
Gosh.
Spider-Man 2099, Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Man Noir, or Spider-Punk?
Oh, dang it. Oh, I think I picked the wrong one. Yeah.
Spider-Punk is not a playable character,
Ooh.
but that game is a blast, by the way. And those two that
It
go
is good.
together, the Edge of Time and Shattered Dimensions, are both they kind of like coincide. They're both really fun, both a good time.
But we all know Spider-Man Noir didn't exist until Nicolas Cage voiced it, so that's
Sure,
a lie.
sure.
Good
That-
point.
That question is
Very good point. Very good point.
invalid.
Yeah. You know what? That's my bad. All right. Let's see. I think we are within. Well, I think Kyle, you got to get these next two right to catch up with Shaggy Nards.
Oh, he'll get it right.
I won't.
All right, here we go. Number 7. Which voice actor has voiced Spider-Man in the most video games?
Jeez.
Hmm.
James Arnold Taylor, Josh Keaton, Yuri Lowenthal, or Reno Romano?
Reno Romano.
It is
Oh,
Yuri
is it Yuri?
Lowenthal.
Oh my
Yeah, 'cause
gosh, that's surprising.
He's done in other games like the Marvel's Ultimate Alliance and a few others.
Sure.
that
That's
he's-
right.
Oh,
he did
wow,
Midnight
okay.
Suns as well.
And
God
Midnight
damn it.
Suns. Yeah.
I just
Urban
didn't
Knight.
think it was still him though. But
Reno
okay.
Romano.
Josh Keaton was
Jabra.
second place. Josh Keaton has voiced him several times as well.
Okay.
I just put Troy Baker there because he voices everybody and everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
He should have
Solid
been
voice.
the answer.
All right, guys. Last question. Let's see who the standings. Oh, okay, so we've got
Nothing.
Dan in first place, Derek in second, Jeff in third, and Kyle in fourth. Final question. Here we go. Which Spider-Man game has received the highest average score on Metacritic? Is it Marvel Spider-Man 2 from this year,
Googling,
Spider-Man 2
Googling.
from 2004, Shattered Dimensions from 2010, or
Oh,
Marvel
dang.
Spider-Man from 2018? It is
Oh,
the newest
well,
one.
that's
Marvel Spider-Man
surprising.
2 is the highest average.
I thought it came in lower than the 2018 one for some reason.
Nope.
No.
It's the first one I think to be in the 90s.
Oh, okay, good.
And you're right.
Cream
Right.
always rises to the top.
I thought it was a good spot to use that one. You know, you don't get
Yeah,
those.
That's what
fair.
she said.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's see the final standings. In third place, we've got
Dan
Kyle
cheated.
Cheats.
Dan cheated.
In second place, we've got Derek. I'm just going to say Derek.
Okay.
And in first place, who is it?
We got the guy
Who
with
is
all the
it?
Spider-Man crap
The
behind
Spider-Man fan one.
It is Dan.
This
Now,
is
Dan,
rigged.
if you
This whole
had,
thing was rigged.
if you-
This was rigged.
Rigged.
if you hadn't have won, I think that would have been a problem. But
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
By the way, I see that you are wearing your regular Spider-Man shirt, but not what you wore yesterday to your stream. So why do you hate us?
That wasn't actually me. That was a different. That was Spider Mario.
Oh,
Spider
that was your
Mario.
friend. You're
The
friends with
kayfabe
him,
is
like
alive and
Peter.
well, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Peter
this guy-
Parker
this
is
guy, right?
friends
This
with.
guy right
Yeah,
here. This guy right
Yeah.
there.
gotcha. Kind of like
my-
Peter
this is my
Parker
friend,
is friends
Spider-Man.
with Spider-Man. Gotcha. I follow now.
all right, good job, everybody. Good job. Hey, listen, Spider-Man 2 is out. That's how we're going to wrap up whatever time we decide to spend on the rest of this show. Derek, I know we've talked about a lot of shows and movies and games that weren't yours. So have you played any Spider-Man 2? Because I know a lot of us have a lot of thoughts. Dan, I appreciate this, by the way, this screenshot we have of you right here. Unless you're just sitting.
It's my friend. It's my friend, Tim. It's my friend.
Oh, I mean,
Rob Rinaldi dressed up as Spider-Man?
With the stash. Yeah, it's perfect. Derek, have you played this at all yet? And what are your initial thoughts on Spider-Man?
I played a couple hours. I like it a lot. It does feel like the first one, but the place where it feels the most different, or at least I'm appreciating it the most in the beginning of this game, is I like all the abilities. I feel like the abilities in this game are way cooler. Not that they sucked in remastered. I liked remastered a lot, or Spider-Man. I liked Spider-Man a lot. It's probably my favorite until I beat the second one, see if it is, over Miles Morales. But I really liked playing as Miles the most.
Yep.
If you get what I mean. So I like that in this game, all the abilities and both characters have it. And then you also have your abilities that you can combine for both of them. So I really like that there's a lot to unlock. The combat feels as smooth as ever. It looks pretty good. I've played it on all my TVs. I think I'm going to I am going to try it on 4K with smooth and quality and see if I like it. But so far, of all the screens I've tested on, I like my 1080p the most. I think it just looks better and plays better. But it looks good, plays good. Story, haven't really gotten into it enough to really have an opinion on that. Although I literally just got a text message from Eli, and he's like, "Is this shorter than the other ones? Because I just finished it." So
oh my God.
Apparently he likes it because he already beat the game. Do
you know if he mainlined it, like kind of like MKS and Fire did, like where it's kind of like
with remastered he did everything, but I'm sure he did once he got the gist of how good he could play the game, and if he could beat it, then he probably did end up mainlining it. But I'm sure he's done a lot of side stuff too.
There's a lot of side stuff, yeah.
There is.
Like Eli's a lot like me. Like when we like something, we just do that something, and we don't do anything else. So it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
but I don't have a lot of thoughts because again, my game was Lords of the Fallen. You don't play 50 plus hours of Lords of the Fallen and have time for anything else.
No, I get it. Now, you said you were playing this on quality. Some of the options they have for like the VRR with smooth option, things like that, I've heard can help. I tried that, and I just like the feeling of it a little better on performance mode. As I was swinging around and fighting, it wasn't a huge difference, and I actually didn't notice a huge visual drop off. I'm sure it's there. I just didn't notice it. So I just stuck with performance, and it's super.
I'm on performance now. But Rob Rinaldi or whatever actually posted an article saying you should run it at VRR, at smooth with auto for 120 refresh rate, and then you can put it on quality and it'll run at 40 frames per second, which is how I played Horizon, and I liked Horizon. Now I saw a bump up though with Horizon, like Horizon on quality compared to performance visually, there was a bump up, and so I like the trade-off of losing 20 frames per second.
Oh, I see.
40 feels fine. So I'm going to try it and see if I like the bump up on quality with the 40. If I don't, I'm just going to go back to my performance at 60.
I think it's mostly like crowd and like some of those details are lowered, right, in performance mode? And a few things like that.
It's crowd and density, I believe, as well. Okay. So not only the quality of their models, but the density.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm playing it on, is performance mode, because I like it to be as smooth as possible when swinging through the city. By the way, I didn't even mess with the swing assist stuff. I'm just going to leave it as it is because it feels familiar. That's how I feel it already played. But I know you can really make it difficult and try to make it feel more realistic, what it would be like to swing. And some of those videos are friggin' hilarious. I know, Jeff, you shared one of them. Of people just face planting.
He had fall damage on, and so like it was an immediate death as soon as, because he was doing the loop-de-loop thing, and he just coming back around, he landed on the roof of a building, and it was like immediate death. Yeah,
it's amazing
because of the momentum.
Yeah, that's pretty.
But
good.
if you're a sadist enough, it's right there for you.
So the momentum stuff in this game is something I wanted to highlight. I love the momentum stuff. The loop-de-loop stuff is fun, but then as you can just there's so many new ways to build up speed, which I think is awesome. And then using the webs to kind of your wings to glide, and then hitting the wind tunnels. It's all just so satisfying and intuitive. Like I didn't feel like they needed to give me like a training course. It was kind of like, here's the buttons and go. And as soon as I tried it, I was like, yeah, that's how I would expect it. It plays exactly how you would expect it to play.
Right.
When you see the new movement. So I think that's awesome. Dan, are you liking the new movement stuff? I know that you're a Spider-Man dude. Look at your background. So are you liking the movement in this?
Yes, he's muted.
Yes, muted. Kick him.
We can't hear you.
Kick him off the call.
I don't know. Did you change your...
It's probably from sharing that dumb pic.
That was for you. That was for
I
you,
heard
Derek,
that.
Turn the volume up on that, that's for sure.
All right, we'll come back to Dan. Jeff, you were going to say something.
Yeah, there's a skill that you can unlock later in your skill tree, the shared skill tree, that allows your traversal to... Oh, no, I'm sorry. No. It's the traversal on the suit. It's the suit upgrades.
Yes.
That you... I think it's like the second to last one, or maybe the third, where if you dive and then hit your wingsuit with your wings, it'll give you more momentum. So like I am just flying right now because I have that enabled.
It'd be cool to see like a top speed, wouldn't it? Like if they gave you like, here's the speed you're moving at right now.
I don't know that there's an achievement for that. I know there's an achievement to go from the financial district to Astoria and just glide it. And I watched enough videos on that to figure out pretty quickly, because it's all connected to wind tunnels. So I figured that out pretty quickly, and how fast you get there through just nonstop wind tunnels is just utterly insane. It's so cool.
Even when you don't have the momentum you need to, like, let's say glide across a wide part of the river, even the ability to kind of quickly kind of surf on the water. You could use the boats, but I've done the surf on the water, jump, and then dash, glide again, whatever, and like. I never feel like, unless I do something stupid or hit a wrong button, then that happens.
And you can zip line when you're web winging or whatever. You can just hit a quick zip line and it'll get more momentum that way.
Now I thought about it, but I haven't unlocked the abilities yet. I guess you can. I think it's in the shared one as well, where you can kind of do dashes or jumps mid.
Yes,
glide. I haven't tried this though. Okay.
Yeah, that was an ability I think they introduced in Miles Morales, because I remember that being in the skill tree where you can have a venom jump. In the middle of your swing.
Yeah.
But it took away like your focus or something like that. I love that it's housed somewhere else. Like all of those those powers are housed in a completely different area now, and I love that.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to digress, but Dan, we can totally hear you now.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I was saying me and my friend are enjoying the game very much.
Good.
But yeah, no, the momentum stuff is great, because obviously the first one, like, it's like, okay, cool. So we made swinging feel really good. This feels fantastic. We nailed it. We're amazing. And then they were like, well, what are we going to add to the second one? And so like being able to move like faster and
you get to be Falcon now. You're Spider Falcon.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so you're just wingsuiting around and it feels fantastic. Because I saw like those pads, like when I would do the scan, like before you actually even get to that part, I was like, what even is, like I wasn't understanding. And then once you get the wingsuit, I was like, oh, I see what's going on. Okay.
Yeah.
So then
nice visual cues for those wind tunnels, right? Like they're not always the rings aren't always obnoxiously sitting there, but as soon as you are in the websuit in one of those streams, they appear, and I like that.
Yeah. They do like a swoosh. They do kind of a swoosh thing. If you wanted to scan, you could, but if you left it alone, it'd be like Ghost of Swoosh, where you detect the wind, like you can see it. And you're like, oh, I'll just jump in there real quick, you know.
The catapult thing is pretty awesome too.
Oh yeah,
that's really
you can do that anywhere now too. It's great. It's a great ability. Yeah.
So that's pretty rad. I like that. Yeah, I like that they took that into consideration. Like, oh yeah, we should like also have it so you're just zipping around super fast, and that's really cool.
Yeah, we're gonna introduce a hella huge map. We should.
Yeah.
It makes the map feel actually kind of tiny when you're able to move around that fast. Like it.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how the opposite.
Yeah, it's true. I saw there was a mission that was like 2,000 whatever it is meters or feet away. I don't remember what the measurement is.
Yeah.
But it was a long way away, and I hadn't unlocked fast travel for that area. I actually haven't unlocked much fast travel yet at all. I'm just kind of all over the place. I'm not like focused. I'm like, I'm gonna go over here.
It's unnecessary though. By the time you unlock it, it's
because
like
I already have
skills to be faster.
Distance so quickly. I was like, this is way too fun. I don't need to fast travel right now. Maybe later I'll want to fast travel. Right now I don't need to.
I would imagine when you're doing collectibles, like I unlocked another set of collectibles. I guess they're more like mini events, similar to the screwball ones. not as annoying as the screwball ones, but they're similar. And so like, yeah, I'm not gonna fly to that. Like, I'm gonna fast travel. And I do have fast travel for everywhere now.
They use the haptic triggers in some cool ways, both with breaking the rocks out of the crystals, which just the way it feels, right? And then also when you're doing the Prowler missions to go find additional tech, and when you the way that you have to pull those things, it's just really cool. Like, like they're actually using those triggers in a way that I feel like this is what they wanted when they made this controller. A lot of games don't use it.
Even the motion stuff that I don't really care for with they introduced in PS4, where you can to aim your shot, move the controller up or whatever. Normally I don't care for that, but they give you another option if you don't want to do that. So there is a part where I rode a roller coaster. You can hold your controller up and just leave your hands up.
That's awesome.
It's so funny. Yeah, there's a lot of optional stuff in Coney Island. I highly recommend y'all do that whenever that comes up.
The gameplay, of course, is awesome. Like Jeff said, I think, and Kyle, I don't know if you're experiencing this too, but like the combat, I think is a blast. How are you thinking? How are you feeling about the combat so far?
I'm loving the combat. Jeff brought up in the chat that like the game kind of expects you to use the tools a little more, which the gadgets were obviously there in the last game as well. But like the necessity of it in this game feels much more apparent, and there's a lot of built-in mechanics that get you gadgets replenished back pretty easily and a lot quicker. Yeah. So like now, like whenever you're facing a room full of 30 people, like sucking them all together, and then throwing something else in there to hit them all while they're right there, like it's super easy just to bleed through people, which is awesome. I feel like there's a lot more options and stuff like that. And like I feel like I'm still seeing finishers I haven't seen before, I know there's a finite amount of them obviously, but like just the way that like attacks happen contextually off of surfaces. So if I'm standing next to a wall, like jumping off of it and hitting someone, I unlocked a move now where I like stand on one hand and like kick someone into a wall over and over again, like that's a new move, which is pretty cool.
That's an unlockable. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So there's just they really just took what was already working really well in the last game and just made it better, and like
the kicks are so funny. I'm just imagining the visual now of like
it's
like you're killing the guy, like you're literally killing the guy.
Stop! You're killing him.
So it's super cool. I've been really enjoying the combat quite a bit. It is the best version of like the Arkham style combat. I think it's because very similar to that type of like combat style.
Yes.
A big thumbs up on the gameplay for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you on the tools that you use. I need to get more aware of when they've refilled. Same with my abilities. Sometimes it's kind of like, oh yeah, I have that ability, because I'm just doing like punching and trying to counter and dodge under them and hit them with webs, and I'm like, oh, I've got all these abilities that are all ready to go, and I just haven't used them. So I still need to get back into that groove. I probably put 2-3 hours into it total, maybe a little more than that. But it's starting to come back a little bit.
They're not like break glass in case of emergency type of abilities. Like you can use them and they'll replenish during your fight. So totally
and replenish often too.
Yes.
If
especially
really
based on your attacks and stuff.
If you're really pushing the charge and you're skilled into like items replenish after 10 hit combo or whatever, like you'll start seeing that stuff wrapping up really easily. So it's awesome, man. The locomotion extends into the combat as well, in terms of just keeping momentum and keeping the offensive on.
With Miles, like obviously once we got to experience like him as a character and playing as him, you're like, oh, okay, so he has like these lightning abilities that quickly differentiates him from just Peter Parker, because very classic Spider-Man, and then you have like this Spider-Man that can camouflage and lightning powers and all that. But then in this, and they showed it in like that first trailer, and I actually kind of like forgot, and then like when I started playing it and then he uses it, I was like, oh shit, yeah, the like metal spider like leg things that comes out of his back, like it's like that's clearly like a whole, like to kind of make him also have his own unique thing going on as the antithesis to Miles, because then he has a range of new things, which I obviously haven't learned many new things with it yet, but
I have like two new Miles abilities, and they're still related to like shocking them with some sort of energy, so they're not that different, but they affect your enemies. They affect the crowd control, I should say, differently.
He's a much better crowd controller, for sure.
But I also
do like both of them have a move where you can bounce everybody up, which is awesome. That one's awesome.
That one's great. With I think that's with Peter, right? With the
both
legs
of them can do it. They
both have their own version of it.
Nothing feels better than Miles Morales' Venom Stomp one, where it's like if you notice you're surrounded, you just enable
Just
it.
jump
And
up.
Oh yeah, just comes down
hit
and
the
just
ground. Oh my god,
those
dude,
are really
it's
good
so
against
cool
the
style.
Sandman like
Yes.
dudes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just blast them real quick. Yeah.
Because they get up on you, man. They're on
Dude,
you.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of them all at once.
Speaking of Sandman, how about the opening of this game as far as like epic
it's so good.
cinematic
It's okay.
moments? Like if you
It's
think
fine.
it's okay.
Yes.
If you think about in Star Wars has one of the best cinematic moments like that, also including a lot of sand, of course, with that big kind of chase / fight that you do. You know what I'm talking about in Jedi Survivor.
Oh, Jedi Survivor, yeah. That's
Yeah.
more like the third act, though, isn't it? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, there's a couple different moments, but there's one specifically where your girlfriend is first giving you the portals to jump through. It's that first big, that cinematic kind of. It's an amazing experience.
Jedi. Yeah.
And then of course you got Final Fantasy 16 with just crazy boss fight, epic moment after epic moment, and then this kicks it right off right away with this huge. I thought
Very strong
epic
opening.
Very
boss fight.
massive.
So
Yeah.
fun, and they made you feel awesome right out of the gate. And there's a lot of quipping, and there's just damage everywhere. It's just so
Yeah,
cool.
I
It
like
is
seeing the
way more
remnants of that
chaotic.
attack afterwards. Yeah, like it's
Me
just
too,
like, oh,
it's
this
still there.
really knocked out a few city blocks of, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's there for the mess is there. It stays there for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
still there for
yeah.
me. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still there for me too, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm like level 35 or something. I'm pretty far in, so like,
Yeah.
I say I'm far in, but I still don't have Venom powers, which is in the trailers. It's not a spoiler, so.
Oh.
Did anyone
got
So I'm
there.
still in the first act. Like that's the first act to me. Is like,
When you go to pull the limousine out of the sand, did anybody else have the knocked out body of an enemy right there? And you're like, well, that would have killed him. Like when I pulled that out. So Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, right.
no,
right.
but that's really funny.
I did. I
That's
had
funny.
bodies. I think I've seen it online as well, but I had bodies after the end of that fight, and I pulled the car out, and it just like bonk, I got on top of like two of them. I was like,
And he doesn't say anything
There's-
like, sorry, yeah, sorry.
There's
Yeah.
a cutscene where he just literally throws a missile into like two dudes standing on a rafter, and I'm like, those guys are dead.
Yeah.
They're dead.
Yeah, but they're from like another
Oh,
Oh,
country.
were they
so,
rubber
like,
missiles? Like what?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I totally know. You're talking about the carrier attack, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Like with Craven's
Yes,
guys.
that
And I'm
one,
like,
yeah.
doesn't matter if they're like a foreign entity. Like you're murdering people and your whole
Foreign
like, I don't murder
entity.
people.
Right.
that whole
right.
Whatever
sequence is
country he's
awesome.
from, I don't know. But yeah, that seems incredible.
that whole sequence is cool. And then there's a scene as you're trying to figure out more about these hunters, who they are, as you discover how they're hiding. That's pretty sweet too. I was like, that's
Dude,
awesome.
so you did the first base?
Yes, yeah,
You did? Yeah. So like it's awesome that you get to go to different rooftops, collect intel
Yeah.
first.
yes,
And that intel gives you genuine tips. It's not like, well, maybe it's here, and then you go collect another piece, and maybe it's here. It's not. It's actual intel for the base. That when you go there, you have the option of, at least in the first base that we've done so far, you have the option of disabling their turrets, totally
Right.
optional, before you fight anybody, and well, you can stealth take out people along the way, but and disabling their ability to call in backup, so it's not like wave after wave of enemies.
yeah.
I can't believe they added that. Like it was just kind of like you didn't need
Cool
to do all
idea.
this like recon stuff.
yeah.
It was such a nice touch from just doing waves of enemies.
That's the
first game.
power of the SSD.
That's the SSD, man.
Yeah.
Only
They could- they
possible.
couldn't-
Proprietary Sony SSD.
They couldn't do it on the PS4, but they can do it now. They can
Yeah.
do
Wait,
it
know,
so
on
Kyle,
the
is it? It's the
PS5.
PS SSD. Is that what it is? It's the
That is absolutely
The PSSSD.
PSSSD. Piss, piss coming out the D.
I wanna highlight though, like, because this is I mean, because we had the Miles Morales game, and in the very beginning of that game, you do have Peter there. But this game is, I mean, you have both Spider-Man. You got
Yep.
the Spider-Mans. You got them both. And there's literally, you know, you can switch between them, but then like there'll be the random crimes happening.
I love
And-
this. Yeah.
So like I was, as an example, I was Peter swinging along, and one popped up, and I got there, and I was like, oh shit, Miles is here. Like he's just fighting these dudes right now. I was
Yeah.
like, holy crap. And
And
Peter
you'll do
says,
some stuff together too. You'll be like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
he'll come
they'll
by
do
kicking,
the,
he'll
yeah,
do the point or something.
Yes.
or-
Yeah.
which is awesome. But so I landed at the fight with Peter, and he was like, so am I crashing your party, or are you crashing mine? And Miles goes, we're just crashing crime, dude. Like he just like,
Nice.
was
Yeah, the
like,
banter's
dude, that's
cool, yeah.
amazing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like when you finish a fight, they'll try to high five.
I-
But they're
I
like
love
awkward
that.
about it because
Give me
they're
a hug.
nerds. So
Yeah.
then they
Yeah.
bro hug. Like it's just so like that energy is why I love, one of the reasons why I love Spider-Man. It's just like the awkwardness, like the nerdiness, but like they're
Yeah.
just being heroes, regular guys just trying to do hero
Well, it kicks
stuff.
off right at the beginning when they're in class and Peter is supposed to be teaching, and then Miles goes to the
Yes.
bathroom and he comes back and goes, "I need help." I need your help right now, and everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so
right.
awkward.
It's so funny. It's really good. Really well
it's
done.
just-
I'm gonna
it's
get
just-
fired.
I think all the characters so far are really interesting, really well done. There's certainly an element to, and I understand why they're doing it, because I have a feeling it's pretty obvious where the story is going, which is fine.
It's going,
There's one of Peter's close friends. It's not a huge surprise. He's on the trailers, but I won't say his name. Anyway, one of his childhood friends. There's some really interesting backstory they fill in with him. You can do the high school flashback sequence and all this stuff.
I love
you get
those,
some really
by the way,
good
that's-
Life is Strange moments where you're
Some
Yeah.
Life
riding.
is Strange.
Yeah.
Very
Like,
Life is
pop
Strange
music
moments.
is playing while you're riding on
Yes.
bikes. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is Life
It's
is
actually
Strange.
not the only flashback you get of Peter around that age or shortly after that age. So I appreciated that they plugged in this more awkward. He wasn't always this
Correct.
quippy Spider-Man. He was like such
Yeah.
a freaking dork, even more so.
Such a
like,
dork.
yeah.
But yeah, there's certainly something about when they want a character to be very endearing. There's a little bit of too much sweetness, like and hey, I get it. This kid's been through a lot. This character's been through a lot and has now kind of returned. But there's certainly an element of like, even if I'm in Peter's shoes and super trusting, I'm kind of like, what's going on? Why are you being? What is this? There was just something a little too sweet about their interaction. But that's just because I guess in these games, in Miles and in the first Spider-Man, you didn't see them interact. All this character did was talk to you over long distance or leave messages for you.
Yeah.
And so now
With
now
a
all of
different face,
sudden-
no less. Now his
the
face is different.
Yeah, I know. But now all of a sudden
Him and MJ both went overseas and they came back different people, man. Like it's crazy. No one's talking about it.
No one's talking about
I
it.
mean, technically Peter changed too, so
He did. He
That's
did.
true.
Yeah.
It
No,
just
but
gives me
they clearly-
vibes a little bit of Uncharted 4, where a brother shows up and there's a lot of history there that they're digging back into, which is totally fine, and they're actually making it work really well.
I agree.
To be honest.
I
But
mean,
it
as
is a
long
lot.
as I don't
also.
hate him like I hated Uncharted 4's brother.
They did at least, like, even in the first one, I think, like, or in
He was
during
left for
that,
dead,
maybe.
Derek. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
There were moments that they shared together, like being around each other and spending time together.
Yeah.
Clearly, whereas I think like in an Uncharted, it was very much almost like it just kind of dropped in. But
Yeah, they bring up 1,000 times that like he's tutoring him. So
Yeah, tutoring,
They
yeah.
must have, like 11 months have passed or something. So it's a lot
Do
of
we know what-
probably.
the time is what the time skip here is like. in
Yeah,
this-
between Miles and this game, it's like 9 to 11 months. It's just under a year, is what they
Okay.
said.
Oh, okay, that's good because
Um,
Miles still doesn't feel fully realized, and obviously he's still grappling with a lot of what happened in the first game.
Yeah. It does. There's not too much time has passed, but 11 months of like hanging out, maybe every day. Like they've grown some kind of rapport that happened off screen.
Agree.
Obviously.
To be
Definitely.
clear, I was actually talking about Harry with Peter, where all of a sudden it was like
okay.
it's a super like
Yeah.
there's
yeah,
some-
I knew you were
there's
talking about
something-
Harry.
I knew you were
Yeah,
talking
I
about Harry, too,
followed.
yeah.
with Peter and Miles, I actually really like their rapport. There's certainly like
Okay.
an older brother, younger brother vibe. I really think that's
Yeah,
well
yeah.
done. It feels like
Thanks
it's
for
still growing.
spoiling the game, though, Tim. Thanks for.
Harry
I
was in
didn't
the
know-
trailers. I remember
I knew
making
you
fun
were
of his face in
talking
the
about
trailers.
Harry, but I didn't know he was in
Yeah.
the game.
No,
Now
I
you
think
know.
that does I think that does make sense from like a video game standpoint. I think
Yeah.
that definitely
It
I think almost, but then from like a comic book, it's like, well, that's always that's the person that's always there, and there's a thing there, it's a connection.
Yeah.
So
And
Well,
guys,
you
I've
gotta
heard-
get to
I've been-
you really got to get to the Coney Island mission to feel the rapport.
that's my next one that
deeper.
I keep
Yeah,
getting distracted from doing because there's so
yeah.
many.
You'll
things to do.
be like, oh, this does feel like
Yeah.
they were closer than the game has shown us, basically.
Yeah.
Also, guys, I'm being told that MJ is super ugly now, so just deal with it.
right,
That's
yeah,
what I'm being
she's-
told.
I don't have strong feelings
I'm
one way or
I'm not attracted to her. That's all I can say.
But you're
Okay.
attracted to the Lords of the Fallen character.
Sure, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
As long as it keeps sucking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Like how you
Well, I
said
didn't want to.
that
I
so
didn't want to
casually.
say the word. Tim didn't want me to say it.
Oh,
You
my
showed a
goodness.
lot of restraint. You showed a lot
I
of
did. I
restraint.
did good.
Yeah.
Did
I will
anybody
say
else
this-
get the collector's edition?
No.
Mm-mm.
I just
You're
want
the only true fan here.
I want to say that I'm shocked by the quality. Yeah, I bought this game.
Of the
3
statue?
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought this
Yeah.
game 3 times. So the third time I was like, well, maybe I should just buy the collector's edition. So I bought the collector's edition. I'm really actually shocked at
Oh,
how
okay.
good this statue is. It's big too. It's the joke on one of the pages I'm in is they keep saying I got my 19 inches of Venom.
Mhm.
Sure. Sure.
But it's a really nice statue, really nice steelbook, really nice box too. It comes in a really good box with the Spider-Man logo, black box. good stuff, man. It's expensive. It was $230, so that's why I was a little scared to do it, because I was like, if they're giving me like a $40 statue, but I feel like this is, I wouldn't say it's worth 150 because the game's 80, but I would say it feels like the quality of like $100 statue.
Nice.
See, I was gonna say, because I mean, obvious price tag wise, I think I was kind of like, no, I'm all set, because the first one, I don't think was
blew all your money on Sonic. Keep going.
Yes, it's true. Well, that and my 19 inches of Sephiroth, because I got that coming. So
of course.
Right. But I have the statue from the first one. I don't know. Did you get the first one, Derek? Collector's edition?
No, I don't think so. Unless you
first
showed
one
me,
didn't
and I'm
have
like,
denim,
oh yeah, it's in a box in my garage. I don't remember.
I have it right here. It's not terrible.
No, I
but
didn't
I mean,
get that one.
That's cool.
Okay.
On like Doc Ock's like tentacles.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Or Scorpion.
It's
That's
just,
Scorpion.
But it's not good enough to make your background, so it's not great, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly.
I do like my suit, though.
I do like it.
But
I think it's cool.
So I think with this one, I was kind of like, if it's the same quality, I don't think it's worth $230 to me. But I obviously have no way to know because I don't have it. So
it's probably like a build quality, probably very similar, but
sure.
But I have to say, even that, I was expecting it to feel cheaper. It feels heavy. It doesn't feel cheap, and it looks really good. I was really surprised, pleasantly surprised. And the Steelbook case is awesome. It's up there with Mortal Kombat 1. It looks really cool.
Well, I do like the overall all the characters. I do love the story, and I love the personal nature of it. Like when you're in your house with MJ, and like you just seeing like he's behind on the bills, just like his family kind of always has been. Like money's always a problem for Spider-Man. That's just an ongoing thing.
He just go steal, please.
But what I love about it is that's a great way to connect with like the audience.
He can
like
throw missiles at people,
he's not like,
but he can't steal.
He's not like Bruce Wayne. He's not like Bruce Wayne, who has a never-ending amount of cash to like have this amazing fortress. Like he lives in a little dingy house that he can barely pay for, and some cases can't pay for it. So there's just something about that makes him kind of more everyman, which is one thing.
He
about
can afford
Spider-Man
all the different suits that nobody makes remarks on.
Okay, let's talk about all the suit options. By the way, there's like 60, 70 something suits.
Yeah.
Variations.
78 like variations. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have like what
30. All look so good.
I think you have like 30 each for Spider-Man, and then there's a different colors for a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
I love that they added that.
Yeah, because I'm making them different colors completely. I've already seen these characters in the normal traditional colors. So I'm making them like blue, green.
Traditional.
Yeah, I went with blue and black for Miles, and like a black with a little bit of red for Peter right now. I'll switch it up though.
This is like my favorite suit right here of Spider-Man. So I use that one.
I like that suit too. Yeah.
And then for Miles, I use the white one, the white and black.
The white one's
tracksuit.
I almost change every mission. I'm like, all right, let me put on a different.
I'm around that too. Yeah, I'm doing the same.
My favorite from Miles is probably like the 2020 Daft Punk helmet one.
Oh my gosh, that was
so
dope.
It's so cool, dude. Yeah, like that's.
It's from the main Miles game.
From Miles, yeah.
Yeah, but the color variations are obviously it's different.
Yeah, it's super good. And then this Scarlet, the one where they both have capes on.
Oh yeah,
it's a great one.
They're both
like I'm playing Gotham Knights. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels super cool. Yeah. And some of the animation ones with the animations were also pretty good.
Yeah, I do like that they do
Noir that. And I guess the Miles from Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
they animate like all kind of weird and stop.
I will say that Miles's uniform or outfit is just in his room. And like everybody across the street can see into his room.
Yeah.
And anybody should just be like, that's a fucking Spider-Man.
That's Spider-Man.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know what? Now that I think about it,
why doesn't he put it in the corner
fire,
near the bed?
Fire exit all the time. Yeah.
One of the first scenes is Miles is on his phone, like right outside his apartment, like hanging on the wall in a Spider-Man suit. And I'm like, nope, nobody notices this is Spider-Man.
They're New York, they mind their business, you know.
You have to suspend your disbelief because there's so many moments where they're like up top somewhere.
I mean, Clark Kent, like Superman, they're so different.
Yeah, they made the AI kind of stupid when it comes to stealthing.
Where'd he go?
That's good.
Have you seen the meme? I forget who shared it recently. I saw someone share a meme of Batman and Superman in their full superhero costumes, and Batman has glasses on, saying, "You like my new costume?" And then Superman's like, "I hate you."
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
I love the Pete Holmes Batman, where I think that was it. where Superman puts on glasses, or no, Gordon was calling out Clark Kent, Superman, and saying it's pretty clear that you're Clark Kent and you just wear glasses. And then he's like, see, I can prove it to you. See, I'm taking off my glasses. Oh yeah, now I'm not Commissioner Gordon. And Pete Holmes Batman goes, where'd Gordon go? What do you do? He's immediately,
and then he puts the glasses back on. Oh, Gordon, thank God you're here.
Yeah. That's so good.
Gosh. The disbelief part also extends to like, you're dressed in the most ridiculous version of the one of the suits that you chose, right? And like, and
it's like
you
got
roll
fire on it or something.
You roll up in a cutscene, and as soon as you do, the NPC is like, "Oh, thank Spider-Man! Thank God you're here!" And I'm like, "How did you identify that as Spider-Man?" That's a totally new outfit and color scheme. It's just
same thing happens in Assassin's Creed Mirage. You can wear these like total demon fire outfits and then just walk
in a dark room, just glowing like the sun. You know.
No one says anything unless he's
blending in.
Hey, that guy's on fire up there. Yeah.
If you're on a poster, they'll be like, "I think that's the guy from the poster." Like, otherwise, they won't say anything about you. But whatever, it is.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Overall, I'm absolutely loving this. I'm actually going to fall a little behind on this game because I'll be out and about traveling all week. So next week, I probably won't have played it much. But this is absolutely my number one game. My hope is while I'm traveling here, I am on the final part of Zelda. I've done all the dungeons, I promise this time. So I'm on that final part of Zelda.
We heard that before, Tim. Okay.
I've got Fire Emblem Engage installed and ready to play some of that. Nice. And I've got Cyberpunk on the Steam Deck. I don't know if it's going to be something that I really enjoy on a handheld. I'm going to try it. I haven't tried it.
It runs well. I'll say that. It does run well.
Might be a little chaotic.
There's just a lot happening in that game, so we'll see.
It is Steam Deck verified. That's why I bought it. Actually, is when I saw it was verified and it was $30. I was like, ooh.
Even before it was verified, there were in-game options to put it to Steam Deck options. So it's like this game always wanted to be on Steam Deck, you know?
Yeah. That makes sense. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But
games like that on.
But hey, next week, guys, we still have some more new games coming out. Alan Wake 2 hits this coming week, so we'll have that to talk about next week as well. As updated thoughts on Mario Wonder. I'll be playing that a lot on my trip, I am sure. And more thoughts on Spider-Man 2 for most of you.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, we totally have time for this stuff. Thanks.
That's on Tuesday, I think, right, Kyle?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Tuesday, yeah.
Oh boy.
I can't even believe, like, Kyle, I can't believe it.
It's happening, Dan.
It's happening. Nanomachines.
Yeah.
It's all going down.
Hey, listen. I appreciate you guys listening and watching. If you haven't tried Spider-Man and Mario Wonder, I truly think, and maybe it's a little early, right? They've only been out for 24, 36 hours, whatever it's been at this point. I think these are two of the best games of the year by a lot. These games are awesome. So this Spider Mario week that we've been hyping up for a long time now, since we've known their release dates, basically.
It's Barbenheimer for games.
It's the Barbenheimer game.
It has delivered what we hoped it would, you know. So what a good time. Love it. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Thank you guys for being here tonight. We'll see you next time. Bye.